A perfect evening for baseball from Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Colorado Rockies in Game 2 tonight. Magic number for St. Louis stays at 1. This afternoon out in San Francisco, the Cubs beat the Giants by the final of 6-2. That's Al. I'm Dan. Welcome to baseball. And here we go again. Magic number at 1. So with a win tonight, Al, the Cardinals can clinch the division, and they have a co-ace on the mound, and that's Adam Wainwright.
Well, Adam Wainwright's been very special this year. He's gotten a lot of run support, but you'll be a little bit shocked to see 12 times this season he's had less than 2 runs in support. He's only 2-6 with an ERA just at 2 in those starts.
That's a look at our Toyota key to the game. Adam Wainwright. Ubaldo Jimenez will get the start for the Colorado Rockies. Very important game for them tonight. When we come back, Adam on the eve of clinching and possibly trying to pick up win number 19 tonight. We'll hear from Adam when we come back. Game 2 here at Coors Field between the Rockies and the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright trying to pick up win number 19. The Cardinals' Adam Wainwright could win the Cy Young Award, and a win tonight would go a long way on his resume as he looks for win number 19.
Well, it'd be cool, but first I got to get it at 19. Seems like it's a hard number to get for whatever reason. So, all I can do is keep going out and trying to improve every time I'm pitching on the mound and keep the team in the game. And I think we'll have a pretty good chance to get to some pretty cool numbers in future years. But 20 would be nice. It would be awesome.
To get to this point, Wainwright has had a devastating curveball, a pitch that has evolved over the years, and it's been one of the best in baseball in 09.
Well, it's definitely evolved. I used to have 2 strong fingers on the ball when I was in the minor leagues, and I think over the years the fingers come up more and more, but it's still there for support. It's pushing on my other finger, I think, but it's not touching the ball, but it's still doing work.
This season has been a special one for Wainwright, pitching alongside a healthy teammate in Chris Carpenter and boyhood idol John Smoltz.
Well, Smoltz was a guy I patterned myself after when I was young. My brother and I used to break down film of him, and as far back as I can remember, and we'd have like press clippings from Smoltz and Maddox, taped onto my wall, just with their mental game and their work that they put into everything. So he was a guy I patterned myself after when I was young. And Carp, obviously, once I got to the Cardinals, has probably helped me more than any other person, maybe besides my brother, in my whole life. So just on the mental side of things, but also on preparing and attacking hitters. I mean, there's a lot of his game that I wanted to mimic, and he's helped me a ton.
Adam Wainwright gets the start tonight. Ubaldo Jimenez, a right-hander, hard thrower for the Rockies. Baseball just around the corner. Albert Pujols and the Cardinals in search of the 2009 Central Division Championship. Standing in their way tonight, Troy Tulowitzki and the upstart Colorado Rockies. The Rockies and Jason Giambi looking for the wild card. The former Rocky Matt Holliday back in town. St. Louis and Colorado. Game 2 next. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, with just the right taste and never brings it down. The difference is drinkability. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. And by Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. That's the shadow of Adam Wainwright as we get you set for baseball tonight. Adam getting the start for St. Louis. Ubaldo Jimenez will get the start for the Colorado Rockies, and the Rockies come in at 87 and 67. The magic number for St. Louis sits at 1. Skip Schumacher, Colby Rasmus, and Albert Pujols in the first. Matt Holliday, Rick Ankiel, Yadier Molina, Joe Thurston, Brendan Ryan, and we'll see Adam Wainwright, the pitcher, batting 145. A late arriving crowd as they've got the towels out. We're expecting over 40,000, and Al, if tonight is anything like last night, it will definitely be a playoff atmosphere.
And it should be another pitching gem. You don't often say that here in Colorado, but things have changed, and Jimenez, their starter, a 14-game winner. He has pitched extremely well the second half. He is their ace, and he is a strikeout pitcher. He's over 200 innings. He and Wainwright are very comparable. This kid throws extremely hard, and he can lock you up real quickly.
Marshall Wireless starter Ubaldo Jimenez, 14 and 11. And let's take a look at the Rockies defense that really bailed them out in the ball game yesterday. Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, and Brad Hopp. Then Ian Stewart, who made the fine play off the bat of Holiday, Tulowitzki, Barmas, and Helton. And the battery tonight for that Rockies defense, presented by Auto Tire, is Jimenez and Yorvit Torrealba. Glad you're with us on this Saturday night from Denver, Colorado. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. That little cutie is ready to see the Cardinals clinch. I think we all are. We've been waiting.
Well, Tony needs to have it happen tonight. He's wound up a little bit, and let's see if this club can kind of relax a little bit and have a good game. But, you know, a week ago we were worried about clinching too soon. Don't have to worry about that now.
Not at all. Jim Tracy, what a job he has done when you think about, you know, taking over for Clinton Hurdle, and at that time the team was scuffling, and the Rockies as an organization made a decision. They said, hey, we're going to go for it. We still feel that we have a chance. And boy, did they go for it, and has it paid off? You bet it has, as they continue to win ball games, but so has Atlanta. Atlanta has thrust themselves into the wild card picture, and they win again today over Washington, 11-5.
Yeah, and remember that there's still 4 more games that Atlanta has against the Nationals, the worst team in baseball. So Colorado really has to continue to win, and they have done so under Jim Tracy.
So here is Skip Schumacher, the Cardinals' second baseman. He'll lead it off. And Schumacher is hitting .305 with 4 home runs, 35 driven in. Ubaldo Jimenez, this guy has got a fastball that'll hit triple digits. And that fastball taken upstairs at 96.
He's very tough to pick up, too. He's a little unusual, unorthodox motion. Sometimes they try to change him, then somebody correctly said, hey, let's just let him go, be himself.
That was back in 2006 when they really started to fool around with his mechanics. They've let him go, as you mentioned, and it has paid off. A 2-0 pitch to Skip is taken for a strike.
One thing is, you know, will he be consistently in that strike zone? If he's throwing strikes, the Cardinals will have their hands full again tonight.
The 2-1. Now he also possesses, with that fastball, split finger pitch and a nasty breaking ball too.
Yes, he's got all the ingredients, and they say he has a tremendous makeup. You know, Dan, he negotiated his own contract, signed a long-term contract, goes to 2012, possibly 14 with conditions met. He fired his agent, negotiated his own contract, and then paid the commission to his agent.
Isn't that something, huh? That should tell you a little bit about Ubaldo Jimenez, who lives with his dad. He lived with his dad the first year or so in the major leagues. You might remember in 07 he made it up right before the World Series, and last year was his first full season in the big leagues. He went 12-12, and now his mom is living with him, his dad, and he speaks fluent English and has been a real leader of this Colorado staff.
And you know, you talk about 98-mile-an-hour fastball, 99 with ball 4, 90-mile-an-hour slider, and then he's got about an 80-mile-an-hour split finger changeup.
One of the real concerns for the Rockies when he makes starts is just trying to go deep into games, because he does throw so hard, but at times he can be erratic, so they'd love to keep him deeper into games.
Well, he has thrown the second most pitches in the National League. You know who's thrown the most? Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But we thought Adam can do it because he warms up so a lot less than most guys.
And that was really interesting, as you see Colby Rasmus, the center fielder. There's a look at Wainwright. You know, the Cardinals were asked about keeping him in games, let him go deeper into games early in the season, and it was pointed out to us that it only takes Adam about 20 pitches to get loose. And the Cardinals, with Marty Mason out there too, keep track of the pitch count, not just what they do in live action, but warm-ups as well.
And when you got a big, strong guy like Adam, he's 6'7", you know, they have a tendency to be a little stronger and able to throw more.
Here's a 2-0 pitch on the outside corner.
Well, if you could consistently hit that spot, that's going to be very tough for anybody.
Mentioned the contract that Jimenez signed. It was 4 years, $10 million, and this is the first of that 4-year deal. Ooh. Just a little bit outside, 3 balls and a strike.
Now, the one thing the Cardinals hopefully will have a running game. It's one thing about the catchers for the Rockies really are very poor in throwing out runners. Torrealba's 8%.
And when you talk about the Cardinals and what they're able to do with the running game when they're playing out in the field defensively, Molina, we saw that last night with Eric Young Jr., gunned him down. He basically takes the opposition out of the equation.
That's right. You know, he's 34%, but really nobody runs off of him. And of course, with Torrealba throwing out only 8%.
And Jimenez wants to visit with Torrealba. So the Cubs win today. They beat San Francisco 6-2. And how about Derek Lee the other night? They had a dramatic win against the Giants, a little celebration, and he's hurt in the celebration for the Cubs.
Guzman, one of his home teammates, got a little excited and hit him on top of the helmet. And that's why he's out with that neck issues. He's had a lot of problems with it anyway.
3-2 is line to short. And out there over to first. And this will be a catch. What are they going to call this?
Well, no, Rasmus stay on the bag. He did not rule it as a catch.
That's one of those plays where Tulowitzki,
he looked like it was intentional.
Yeah, and I think he meant to do it after the fact, but it could be one of those plays where you let it drop and then all of a sudden it turns into a double play.
Yep, you can do it like there, and you see what he kind of, the mindset is there, so it's not a catch. And then the runners were a little bit confused as Rasmus stepped off the bag, but Dave McKay got him back on.
Here's Pujols, who's hitting .331 this year, 47 homers and 129 driven in.
I think we would have had an argument if they would have said it was a double play.
Now Albert leads the major leagues, not just the National League, in home runs. But it's been 13 games since he has hit one. The last time he hit one, he hit 2 in a game against Milwaukee.
And Albert is leading the National League hitters with a .390 average in September. And driving in runs, but the home runs have not come.
And that pitch is taken inside. Prince Fielder with 43 home runs, Mark Reynolds with 43, and then you have Pujols at 47.
Albert has fallen to 3rd place in the RBI race. Has 129 RBIs.
And you've got Prince Fielder at 136, and there you see the season when he homers and what happens. And Jimenez is thinking, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, last night's game, Mike Winters, the crew chief, really had both sides guessing on pitches, and that looks like Albert was very lucky to still be standing in the batter's box.
2-2 the count. So Fielder at 136, Howard 135, Pujols 129 in RBIs. The 2-2. A lot of pitches here in the first inning for Jimenez. But you go back to his last start. Gave up 4 hits, 2 walks in 2 innings, and after that just 2 more hits in his 7 innings of work. So a lot of times with a big powerful guy like Jimenez, you have to get to him early before he settles in.
That's right. It's a common theme we always talk about with starters, and especially a guy that throws hard.
Runner goes, and the pitch is taken for a ball. Then it brings in the former Rocky, Matt Holliday. So already 19 pitches for Jimenez, and Matt Holliday this season, 24 home runs. He's driven in over 100 and hitting .312 in his time combined with Oakland and St. Louis. Holliday, key spot last night, first and second, only one out late in the game, grounded into a double play.
That was a good defensive play by the third baseman.
Holliday, little floater out to center. That drops in for a hit. The Cardinals have an early lead. It's 1-0. Matt Holliday returns to Denver, and here in game 2, he picks up the base hit and RBI.
105th RBI, and usually when the Cardinals score first, they usually win. Not really hit hard, but effectively, so he gets jammed a little bit. This is a big ballpark, so nobody's going to catch Rasmus.
And Rasmus knew it right off the bat that that was going to get down for a base hit. So it's first and third, and only one out for Rick Ankiel. He is in right field tonight.
This could be a tough game for Ankiel.
And you say that because
of the ability to throw fastballs up, that off-speed pitch away.
Rick Ankiel this season, .235, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. Ludwig with the night off, at least to start the ball game. Ankiel in right.
A little trouble getting together on the signs.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Catcher wanted the changeup, which is an outstanding option against Ankiel.
Ankiel, little bouncer, and Helton out of his glove. Jimenez, though, picks it up for the out. They take the hit away, but a run scores to make it 2-0. Johnny on the spot, huh?
Yeah. Well, you got to go over there and cover, but Helton, who's a terrific and Gold Glove winner, multiple winners over there, as he stops the hard hit ball, but he goes to throw, he loses the handle, and look at the pitcher just picks it up and gets the out. So the Cardinals get another run and a very good start right here. Only the 38th run that Ankiel was driven in this year.
And now the third baseman, Stewart, in to visit with Jimenez. By the way, the Rockies are 5-0 against the Cardinals this year, and they're 27-10 against the National League Central Division.
Yeah, they've just dominated against the Central Division, as they have against the Cardinals.
And last night, their 16th last at bat win for the club, and their 7th walk-off win. 2 outs and a pitch to Molina, taken for a strike.
There's a slider there. He's just got a nice, easy, free motion. That ball just explodes out of his hand.
Fans still filing into Coors Field. Early start tonight. 6:10 local time. We saw that was a late arriving crowd in game 1, but then really filled up, and this place got loud.
Not expecting as big a crowd as last night, but as you said, over 40.
1-1 the count on Molina. Molina, base hit into right. Holliday being waved in. Here comes a throw from Hop to the plate, not in time, and Yadier Molina delivers. 3-0 Cardinals here in the first with a 2-out base hit from the Cardinal catcher.
Well, Yachty goes to right field so effectively. So a pitch away from him is a good shot. You know, Holiday is going to give it his all and come home on this play as he sees it go through. All three of the outfielders got pretty good arms for the Rockies, but you know, that you got to score on that one as it took so many hops to get through the infield.
You see Holiday score, play at the plate here at this ballpark. You think about his famous slide and really one of the most famous plays in Rocky history in their playoff run in '07.
And isn't it amazing to talk about a play where it appeared that he probably should have been called out, but it was called safe and propelled them.
And he was asked about it yesterday as he held a little press conference right where he's standing in that Cardinal dugout. And one of the reporters said, "Come on, Matt, you're not a Rocky anymore. You can tell us safe or out." And he said, "The umpire called me safe. I must have been safe." One thing you know is that you get terrific effort from Matt Holliday. We've seen that in his time with St. Louis. Third baseman tonight is Joe Thurston, and Molina is picked off. Throw to second, and they got him. But the Cardinals strike first and strike often. With 3 runs, Adam Wainwright coming up as he takes to the mound. Bottom of the first rolls in here in Colorado, and the Cardinals have jumped out to a 3-0 lead over the Rockies. And a look at the lineup for Jim Tracy, Gonzalez, Fowler, and Helton, followed by Tulowitzki, Stewart, Torrealba, Hopp, Barmes, and Ubaldo Jimenez against a potential Cy Young Award winner. And a big start for Adam Wainwright tonight. His numbers brought to you by Marshall Wireless, a record of 18-8.
Looking to become he's the first 18-game winner in the National League. Looking to become the second 19-game winner in the major leagues, as CC Sabathia won his 19th earlier today.
And the Yankees are rolling. Boston looks to be headed to postseason play again as they beat the Red Sox 3-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carlos Gonzalez.
This young man is not 100%. He has a little left hamstring pull, but they feel he has phenomenal talent.
1-1 pitch. Line the other way for a base hit. Leadoff hit for Gonzalez, and the defense behind Wainwright tonight. Holiday, Rasmus, and Keel. Thurston gets the start at third. Brendan Ryan at short. He's been terrific. Schumacher and Pujols on the right side. Wainwright and Molina the battery this evening. Cardinals defense presented by Auto Tire. And it brings in the speedster Dexter Fowler. 16-2 Adam Wainwright when getting 3+ runs in support.
I showed you that even though he's gotten a lot of runs of support, there have been many times where he has just pitched lights out and gotten very little run support, like Carpenter last night.
How about Carpenter's last 2 starts? You go back to last Saturday night, and he had 8 innings against the Cubs. Took a no decision. The Cardinals eventually won that game after a blown save. And then last night again, no offense for Carpenter, as Fowler looks at a ball a little bit low.
So what, 1 run in 15 innings?
That's it.
So very easily. And I mean, the Atlanta game was bad, but he'd probably take the game before that and the last 2. He should have 3 more wins at least.
Dexter Fowler jumped from Double-A all the way to the major leagues. Never played a game in Triple-A for the Rockies in their organization, as he slaps it foul.
See Thurston playing way in, looking for the bunt, which he did last night after a double by Gonzalez, pushed him over to third, and then a sacrifice fly by Helton.
And Fowler is hitting .330 since August 1st. So really good 1-2 combination at the top of their lineup before the big bats come up. Fowler showing bunt. 2-1. And Fowler's been dealing with a bruised knee, as he's only played in 7 starts since September 1st.
He leads all National League rookies with doubles, triples, walks, steals. So a very good offensive player.
2-1 pitch. In the air. Shallow right, and Keel. Schumacher, the second baseman. It's been turned into a second baseman this year. From the outfield, makes the play. You get the feeling in watching him on these balls, those little pop-ups, he's better than most second basemen because of his outfield background.
I was just thinking the same thing, but anytime the ball's in the air, he is most comfortable. And now you can say that ground balls, it's second nature to him, as he really has developed into a better than average second baseman. And that was a big question mark going into spring training.
Here's Todd Helton.
Could he play second?
First pitch, a ball. I asked you before the game, is Todd Helton a Hall of Famer in your opinion? He's getting close.
He's getting close. He really is. I mean, I was a little surprised that only about 2,100 hits. That you would think he had more than that in his 13 years.
He is now 35. Came up in 1997, played 35 games that year, and 08 was shortened with only 83 games, but all the other seasons that he's played in, fewest games he's played in, 144. So you just about count him in every day in your lineup for the Rockies.
Fourth in the National League with his .317 average. He leads the Rockies in hits. Hadn't done that since 05 with the same amount, 163 hits.
It tails in, and Wainwright does not get the call. So the career numbers for Todd Helton, just over 2,100 hits, over 1,100 RBIs, and he's closing in on 350 home runs.
Well, he's fifth player all time with 500 doubles, 325 average, and 320 home runs, joining Hall of Famers Musial, Williams, Garrett, and Ruth.
Base hit out to left.
Well, what we thought would be a tremendous pitching duel is now a little bit in jeopardy, as these Rockies have a lot to play for also. Tulowitzki batting over .350 on the homestand. What a player he's developed. Shortstop with 30 home runs.
You say shortstop and you look at the body. Cal Ripken was really one of the first big shortstops.
But I mean, to have the upper body strength of Tulowitzki, you can understand why he's a home run hitter. And he's hit 25 home runs since June 8th. He's got 49 RBIs since the All-Star break.
Basically moved Clint Barmas to second base for Tulowitzki, who's from Long Beach State. That pitch is inside.
Good pitch. All these hitters want to get the ball out over the plate and run one in there on the hands.
You think of Alex Rodriguez with a body like that too. You know, the big shortstop when he first came up. You watch him play defense, he's got a tremendous arm too.
Very athletic.
Wainwright needs a double play here. Fly ball. This may drop. Going out, Schumacher makes the catch again. Good play.
Now, there is no way that Ankiel could get to that ball. Albert hustling back there, but it's a very good angle for your second baseman. You can see him calling off Albert. So another good pitch set up by the pitch inside to get Tulowitzki reaching out for the outside pitch.
Now this guy has just killed the Cardinals this year. Ian Stewart, 3 home runs. He's hit .381 against St. Louis and 9 RBIs in 5 games. And Stewart defensively had the play of the night last night as he saved an extra base hit and an RBI off the bat of Matt Holliday. Really a difference in the game. Good curveball.
That'd be one of the keys. Can we say that? Good curveball. How many times tonight?
Really was a struggle last night for Carpenter.
Carpenter told us that he never did have command of his curveball.
And here's the 0-1 pitch. He said, I didn't really have a feel for it all night. It wasn't a good pitch for me, but yet that's how good Chris Carpenter is.
Right. And And you know the relationship that Carpenter and Wainwright have, that what Carpenter learned last night, you can't try to overthrow it or muscle your curveball. Maybe that'll help Adam tonight.
You heard in that feature just a few moments ago before our first pitch, Adam said Carpenter is probably the greatest influence in his baseball life, along with his brother and of course John Smoltz, boyhood idol growing up in Georgia following the Atlanta Braves, and now his teammate here in St. Louis.
Well, I just think it speaks volumes for the type of person Adam Wainwright is. When people ask him about the Cy Young Award, he goes, well, how can I be considered for that when I'm not the best pitcher on my staff?
You wonder if those two will split the vote. The Cy Young, as Lincecum pitched for San Francisco last night. So this is a big start for Wainwright here.
Fighting the curveball in that last delivery. Seems like you have a tendency maybe to throw a little bit harder, you know, in the Rocky Mountains, but your breaking pitches don't have the same effect.
One caught Molina. Got him on his foot.
Maybe in the toe, but he's tough back there. Got more innings than any National League catcher. And right on top of the foot.
See, the shin guard does have protection that goes over the most of the foot, but then sometimes that toe gets exposed. That can hurt.
Oh, yes.
So runners off with this next pitch, 3-2, 2 outs. Cardinals with a 3-0 lead here in the first. A high fly ball out to left. Holiday under it, makes the catch. Wainwright gets out of an early jam, 3-0 after one. Cardinals are headed to the postseason, and so is Fox Sports Midwest and Cardinals Live. Jim Hayes will travel with the team and will have postgame shows after every Cardinals postseason game right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Joe Thurston, a rare start tonight. And where would this team be without Joe Thurston and Brian Barton in the first couple of months of this season? Those two were terrific.
Both of them had tremendous Aprils. Barton was the National League Rookie of the Month for April, and Thurston was probably a very close second.
And these at-bats here, very important for a guy like Joe Thurston, because you're just not sure exactly what direction Tony may go with his bench.
I think the decision is pretty much being made for him with Troy Glass not even traveling with the ball club, as he's got the oblique muscle strain. Seemed like it was kind of two out of, you know, Cleo Green, Thurston, and Gloss will kind of look like the ones that would take two of the three.
And the 2-1 is pulled foul.
And I felt like Thurston was not going to be in jeopardy because of his hits from the left side.
And Tony was saying to us about a week ago he's really liked the at-bats by Thurston and Ricky and Keel coming off the bench.
Right.
Those two have been very good in his opinion. You just saw the shot there of Khalil Green.
Well, Joe Thurston is a good fastball hitter. He's demonstrated that throughout his time in the minor leagues. Just hasn't had a lot of time at the big league level to get established. But he's been a nice presence. You know, he's always ready. He's very respectful of the game, and those are important features for Tony La Russa.
A 2-2 pitch to Thurston. Took some off that pitch just a little bit. Gets his first strikeout.
Well, there's that changeup or splitter, and you can see with the arm action, it just dives enough to where he's right over the top. When you throw, you know, up to 100 miles an hour, and then you throw something around 80. That's such a huge variance that it's hard to be on it.
Brendan Ryan at 289, 3 home runs and 35 driven in. The first pitch is strike at 96. On our gun, he has hit 100 tonight.
Also free and easy motion, so the ball just jumps out of his hand.
National League West has gone longer without a World Series champion than any other division in baseball. And the last to do it, one of the great World Series all time, Arizona beating the Yankees in 2001.
I'm just looking at the Dodgers, who appear that they're going to be in postseason play. I don't think the Rockies can catch them. You know, they've had a big drought in their playoff wins.
When the Cardinals won in 06, that was the first time for a Central team since Cincinnati in 1990. Lou Pinella's squad beat Tony La Russa. Brendan lost the bat. Into the dugout it goes.
Maybe that's how Brendan gets back at his teammates. You know, most of the time, if you lose your bat, throw it at the other team.
Throw it at the pitcher. A 2-2 to the Cardinal shortstop. Reaches for it on a hop to Tulowitzki. Fires over to first and got him by step. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at STLCardinals.com for the largest selection of authentic postseason caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get it straight from the source. STLCardinals.com. Shop today. So Brendan Ryan retired, 2 away. And as we've seen, Wainwright can handle the bat. Very good athlete in high school where he's all-state, a couple different sports. He's got a couple of home runs this year with 4 RBIs.
Been used 6 times as a pinch hitter by Tony La Russa. And they're going to throw that slider out there. They're showing him the respect he deserves.
0-2 pitch to Adam Wainwright. Ground ball left side. Tulowitzki circles and throws low, but handled easily by Help. Cardinals go easily. 1-2-3. Midway through 2, and it's 3-0. Light rail here in Denver in baseball tonight, brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. Three to nothing. St. Louis leading Colorado as we move to the bottom of the second. And Yorvi Torrealba will lead it off. Brad Hopp to follow, and then Clint Barmes. They've got some thunder in this lineup. Tulowitzki 30 home runs, Stewart 25, Hopp with 20, and Barmes, surprisingly, their second baseman, with 23. Torrealba really has developed into a nice story for the Rockies. As he picked up the big RBI last night.
And the walk-off sac fly, both runs scored on sacrifice flies. Torrealba's been getting a lot of playing time with what he has done, you know, driving in runs of late.
Strike 2. Well, you talk to folks that follow the Cardinals and have covered this team for a number of years. They'll tell you the 2014 was probably the best that Tony La Russa has had in St. Louis. And this one is very, very good too. And this one is probably separated the fact that the pitching. And there's a strikeout. He did go. And Torrealba can't believe it. But the pitching this year is better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the offense of 04 was better, but the pitching of 09, you could put this year's pitching for the Cardinals with the offense of 04, you really would have something. That 04 team won 105 games.
Brad Hopp hitting .283, 20 home runs, 79 RBIs. Breaking ball and a strike.
Some of the other guys have been driving in runs. That's one thing that Hopp has really had his problems of late.
He's been walking a lot, though. 18 walks in September. 17 of those in the last 14 games, at second best in the National League. He falls behind here, 0-2.
He was an all-star this season, but hitting under .230 since the break.
Yeah, .228.
And the hits he has been getting, 25 of 44 hits are singles.
We talked about Jimenez trying to get to him early. Well, Wainwright was in trouble in that first inning, but here in the second, he looks to be a little bit sharper. 1-2 pitch. Got him. 2 in a row for Adam Wainwright.
Well, Adam is 5th in the National League in strikeouts, and Jimenez is 6th. So, look like a high strike called there.
But how about the tailing action? You know, on the lefty, where is a left-hander just locks him up. They just can't pull the trigger, and all of a sudden it tails back in for the strike. Great late movement on that pitch.
You know, we used to see that so much from Maddox, and everyone tries to imitate that pitch, but when you can throw it at 93, 94, you really have something.
And Maddox was more, what do you think, Al, around 88, 89 maybe?
That may be a little generous.
Yeah. Barmas right center, and Keel won't get there. Plays it off the wall and fires it back into Brendan Ryan. So a 2-out double for Clint Barmas.
Barmas has just been a Cardinal killer. He loves to face the Cardinals, the team he grew up rooting for, and plugs the gap out there.
And it brings in Jimenez.
Menace with that .236 average, so you got to respect his ability.
2 outs, runner at second base. 3-0 Cardinals here in the bottom of the second. Time called. You see Brendan Ryan, the Cardinals shortstop, is on the outfield grass, and then Skip Schumacher at second, same way. So Barmas can get a huge lead out there at second.
I think they're just saying, Adam Wainwright, don't worry about that man out there, you know, because he's not going to go anyplace. There's 2 outs. Just work on the pitcher. But they are not paying any attention to him at all.
Strike 2. And a strike away from striking out the side here in the second. And a breaking ball, and he strikes out the side. Top of the lineup for the Cardinals coming up in the third. McDonald's introduces the 5-star drive-thru with Angus third-pound burgers, and get a third pound of pure Angus beef loaded up with premium toppings for just $3.99. Time to break out the good china and sit up straight at McDonald's. Skip Schumacher, who walked in the first, leads it off for the Cardinals here in the third. Cardinals picked up 3 runs and 2 walks in that first inning. Nice tight breaking ball from Jimenez.
Well, the Cardinals got those 3 runs, but he is very capable of shutting them down from this point forward.
Easy play for Todd Helton. Some believe that there is parity in baseball and that it is working, as the Phillies had the 12th best payroll last year, won the World Series. The Cardinals in 06, when they won, had the 11th. The White Sox year before, 13th. He had the Marlins at one point. They were 25th and won the World Series. They got a couple of teams here that look to be headed to postseason play if the Rockies can hold on.
Things stay the way they are, or as of today.
There's a base hit into right for Rasmus.
Cardinals would be playing the Dodgers, and the Rockies would be playing Philadelphia.
And here is Albert Pujols with the runner at first. The Phillies, as you see Jimenez at 43, have to be concerned with Brad Lidge and 11 blown saves. He's now been removed as their closer.
And apparently Pedro Martinez has got a little issue that he's going to miss his start. I don't think it's arm related.
And by the way, Jimenez, growing up in the Dominican Republic, anytime that anybody interviews him and asks about his history, he always talks about Pedro Martinez. That was his idol growing up.
Just say they would tune in an hour before the game so he could hear what they said about Pedro.
Pretty good lead over there at first by Colby Rasmus. 2 balls and no strikes.
If you get a jump, you should want to steal. Just question, do you want to do it with Albert up?
Two and one. Pujols walked and scored back in the first. It's a fun matchup here, isn't it? Jimenez and Albert.
Yep. And it's a breaking ball here.
Albert calls time. Pujols, who would be trying to pick up his 3rd MVP this year.
Be the 3rd in the last 5 years.
2-2. Pulled foul. Pujols is trying to catch Ramirez of Florida in average, and barring a miracle, that will not happen. He's at 351. Albert at the start of play 331, and the major league leader about the season Joe Mauer has put together. He's hitting 370.
Yeah.
Minnesota catcher.
And
Pujols chops it to short. Out at second, on to first. Nice turn by Barmes. Double play. 6-4-3 on the double play midway through 3. And the Cardinals lead it 3-0. Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. The double play. Tulowitzki. Barmes help. 6-4-3, and the threat of Pujols erased. Bottom of the 3rd rolls in. Coors Field in Denver. First pitch popped up. Thurston over near his own dugout with room. He's got it. First man retired. Let's go back to that double play. Really a nifty turn here by Barmes.
they had a lot more time than what they realized, but speedy runner Rasmus going down there, and he gets the feed from his shortstop, vacates the area, and then just makes that throw over to first base. Albert halfway down the line.
Dexter Fowler popped out in the first to second baseman Skip Schumacher. Start taking a real hard look at the numbers, and Wainwright will have a great case for the Cy Young Award. He's got this start, probably one more after tonight, and a chance at 20 if he can win this evening.
Just see how focused he is. He knows what he has to do. He's not going to worry about offensive, and his teammates come out and score 3 in the first. But he's out there very focused, as we've seen him. And you can tell that the influence of Carpenter, who's just a master of really focusing on what they need to do and don't worry about somebody else's job.
1-2.
See Smoltz and DeRosa talking.
Two former Braves there. Good pitch. That's another curveball. That's 4 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright.
Well, Adam, with the way he's going here tonight, he's going to get over 200 strikeouts.
Tim Lincecum leads the National League, but he does not lead all of baseball. Lincecum 254 strikeouts in the National League. And Justin Verlander of Detroit at 256. Todd Helton singled first time up.
Adam is 18-8. He has the 3rd best ERA in the National League. First is Carpenter.
And Carpenter is not the best, though, in baseball. That's Zach Greinke, who's just over 2.
Yeah.
And Greinke, you would have to think, would win the American League Cy Young Award, despite not having the kind of win total you would expect.
15 now?
Yes, and he plays on a team that obviously has been very poor this season.
Right. There's never been a American League Cy Young Award winner under 16.
Just inside the first base line, down into the corner, and Helton to second. He'll stop there.
Well, that is a memorable double for Todd Helton. He just passed Babe Ruth for 45th all time, and just inside the bag. Then it gets a little tricky for Ankiel, as he couldn't cut it off before it got into the corner.
Troy Tulowitzki, and you see the 36 double this year for Todd Helton. One of the things that he did to really change around his season, and he has turned it completely around. Little toe tap. They found that he was on his front side way too much, and it took away from some of his power. So actually draw in the left foot, his front foot, draw it back a little bit. And we saw that Khalil Green did that earlier this year.
Right. From this angle, you get a better look at it. Watch the front foot. As the pitcher's in the windup, he'll bring the front foot back towards his back leg to get to the hitting mechanism.
And it's keeping his weight back so that weight transfer isn't there, and he's got more power when he swings the bat.
Well, what was happening, Dan, before he was doing that, he was, without doing that, he got out on the front side, but he also was dropping the back leg, and he'd be uppercutting. So there's where he would take the power away from him.
Khalil Green talked about doing that in the series against the Royals, and he had probably the best series of any Cardinal during that weekend at Kauffman Stadium.
And a home run in each game.
Yeah, and certainly his best series of the year. 2-1 the count on Tulowitzki. Popped out to Schumacher first time up.
On the homestand, Tulowitzki's batting .350.
Good pitch.
Up and in, just locking him up. Got in there last time, and then he went away with the off-speed pitch and jamming. But you see, he took all the fluidity out of his swing as that ball up and in, right above the hands.
Hit left side, Thurston. High throw. No, he threw it away. Helton will score. 3-1. And Wainwright should be out of this inning.
Joe Thurston has not played very much in the field the last several months, particularly since you got DeRosa, and commits his 12th error of the year. And no chance for Pujols, and DeRosa, I asked DeRosa today, I said, are you okay? Your back, your wrist? He said, I'm fine. A little surprised that he wasn't in the lineup. And, very important game. He was hopeful to be out there. And right now, because that's the one thing, he has played very solid defense with the sore wrist.
So E5 on the play, no RBI. Tying run at the plate. 6'7" Adam Wainwright. Be imposing out there on the mound.
His stuff is imposing. And mentally tough to where he can just put that error aside, knows that they should have a shutout.
It's a foul tip. Runner was going on the pitch. It is pretty amazing in that little feature that we had where Wainwright talks about throwing a curveball with just essentially that index finger off the seams of the ball. By the way, did you see a dog with a hat on back there in the background?
No, I did not.
There is a dog back there that has a Rockies cap in the front row.
Did the dog have a cell phone too?
There he is.
No cell phone, but he does have a cap. Good eyes, Dan.
Thank you. 0-2 on Ian Stewart. We have noticed this season Wainwright, who's got one of the better curveballs in all of baseball, has thrown it more this year than ever. It's a hit and miss pitch.
Well, there were times early in the season that Adam's own teammates kind of got on him at times, just saying, hey, you throw 94 miles an hour and you won't use it. You can fall in love with a curveball too much.
You hang it, it's hitting. If it's like that, you're missing.
Well,
so he picks up Thurston after the air, gets a strikeout, and 5 tonight. 3-1 after 3. Sundays after St. Louis Rams home games, the tailgate party continues. STL Football Sunday. Join us in the atrium of Hotel Lumiere. And that pitch is strike to Matt Holliday.
I think Matt thought it was.
Holliday first timed up. Picked up a RBI base hit and a single.
About 2 weeks before Matt was traded to the Cardinals, he really started getting hot. As go back to July 11th, he's hit .360, 20 doubles, 16 home runs, 61 RBIs, 51 runs scored in his last 66 games.
Now Cardinal fans want to know if Matt Holliday will be in uniform in St. Louis next year with the Cardinals uniform.
With the Cardinals uniform.
That's right.
If he goes for happiness, he's in St. Louis.
Either way, he's going to make money. It's just how much.
Right.
If he hits the open market, how crazy might it get? New York teams, Boston, Anaheim. 2-2. On the outside corner, Holliday didn't like it.
It's another pitch away that clearly looked like it was outside. And right now, if Wainwright gets these pitches, it's okay. As there were 2 strikes called in that at bat that Matt disagreed with our home plate umpire.
And Keel with an RBI his first time up. Curveball in for a strike. A little bit surprising that Rick Ankiel did not start the ball game last night against Aaron Cook. He was 4 for 5 with 2 home runs. And tonight he gets the start against Jimenez. 0-2. Dave McKay, the first base coach of the Cardinals, fielding that grounder, and his son Cody is here with his family tonight, the former Cardinal. That's strikeout number 3. You can bid tonight to participate in a pregame VIP on-field experience before the Cards-Brewers game on Friday, October 2nd. Bid today on this exclusive experience at stocardinals.com/auction. Here's Molina, hit a 2-out base hit and RBI in the first.
I mentioned that Ankiel had the great numbers against Cook last night. He was 2 for 7 against Jimenez, so even more of a reason that you're surprised he wasn't in the lineup last night.
And I know you mentioned that DeRosa, a little surprising not to see him. Right-handers hitting just .207 this year against Jimenez, so that might play into what you see with Ludwig on the bench and Mark DeRosa, both hitting from the right side.
But you know, guys want to be out there when got a chance to clinch. So it's, you know, they understand. They just, I think, personally a little disappointed. And now that pitch looked like it was better than the one that rung up Holiday.
Home plate umpire is Dan Iasonia tonight.
He had a rough call last night that went against the Rockies.
What do you think? Umpires getting slumps? It builds up in a series.
Why not? You know, we know hitters go in slumps.
Sure.
Pitchers go in slumps. So why can't umpires?
Crew chief is Larry Vanover, Sam Holbrook at second base, and Mike Winters at third. 1-2 pitch. Big crowd tonight here at Coors Field. It certainly is filled up.
And it's good to see. And of course, these players, both teams, really appreciate that, you know, because it gives you that little feeling, as you said, a little bit extra, a little playoff atmosphere.
Molina just got a piece. Last night, into that game, it was tense. You know, Colorado knew Atlanta had beaten Washington, so they're trying to make sure that Atlanta stays put in the wild card. And for the Cardinals, you know, they win the division. 2-2. Strikes out the side. Torrealba leads it off when we come back. Schnooks, this date in baseball history. Back in 1983, Bob Forsch, the righty, pitches his second career no-hitter, beating the Expos 3-0. Of course, his brother Ken threw a no-hitter as well. And Bob, the 2 no-hitters and the only one to throw 2 in Cardinals history. Wainwright aggressively taking to the mound after that third and final out in the top of the fourth. Well, you like to see that, don't you? Guy that's ready to go.
I think it's important to just kind of get your juices flowing again. You know, I understand walking off after the inning, but to jog out there a little bit to get your body moving.
Torrealba is swinging a miss on that very good curveball. And from the outside perspective, when you see this Cardinal team, Carpenter, Wainwright, Pinheiro, pretty good 3 once postseason play gets here.
A lot of clubs have, you know, pretty good 1-2. But when you throw in Pinheiro, then the Cardinals seem like they step up a little bit and separate themselves from other teams because of that deep. The 3, they're the only team in the National League that has 3 starters with 15 or more wins.
0-2 pitch. Of course, Wainwright closed out the 06 World Series, closed out every game in that clinching run through the playoffs.
He was outstanding then, and now, you know, took over after proving he could be a tremendous closer when Izzy was hurt. Put him in the rotation and made the right thing. There's a 06, right? Championship cap.
In the air, shallow center, and a base hit. Torrey Alba had to go down to get it, and it's a base hit. Bush Bash All-Star Fridays feature prizes, live music, and a Cardinals player. This season, each Friday home game has a Major League All-Star. And October 2nd, this upcoming Friday, Vince Coleman from 5:30 to 6:30, and the first 150 people in line will be guaranteed to get an autograph from Vince Coleman. STLCardinals.com to find out more.
That's great. We don't see enough of Vince.
It's quite the golfer now.
Yep, making his home in Arizona.
We saw that this date in history, Bob Forsch, and people are wondering what he's doing these days. He's actually a pitching coach for the Billings Mustangs. I talked to Bob a couple of months ago about that. Walt Jocketty reached out to Bob, and that's the Reds organization.
And he moved from St. Louis, living in Florida now. But pitch coach. This is his first endeavors in baseball since retirement.
He said to me, and I'm sure, Al, you'll agree, because you always talk about teaching at this level, meaning the major league level. But Bob Forsch was saying, and he had a 16-year career, an outstanding career. He said it's amazing how these guys just don't know the game at all. He said it's almost like you're taking little leaguers and teaching them the basics again about baseball.
Dan, you talk to all the major league coaches, and one thing that they will tell you is you never can assume that someone knows something, even at the major league level. And now they're really getting on, I assume. And Tracy, see what they had a legitimate gripe. I think they did.
Wow.
As there's a couple high pitches that have caught our attention that, you know, in the 70s, those were called strikes, but not anymore.
Left field, gone.
Earlier this week, Cap hit a ball to left field, and they started thinking that, hey, he might get hot at the right time. Taking a ball the opposite field, and this has to make Jim Tracy happy after he was very upset with a ball called a strike up in the zone. We got a new ball game.
3-3. And that caught Molina. It's a foul ball. The bunt attempt, and Molina's down.
I was watching the ball and really didn't see what part, but it looks like a lower leg. Get a better look at it here. Oh, right on the knee. The left kneecap is, we showed you those shin guards. They have hinges, you know, where you have your overlapping areas, and at times that ball will get, you know, it'll get in between those flaps and hit right on bone.
It deflected off Molina, never hit the ground.
Let's take a look at it again and
see if it ever hits the ground. No. And then did Wainwright catch it in the air? Yes.
still smart, but he is tough as can be. Unplayed umpire is going to give him a little time, but no one's questioning.
So it's strike one on Barmes on the bunt attempt. You ever seen that before?
Not really.
And so the foul tip and an 0-1 pitch. Now strike two. Another foul tip, that time held on to by Molina.
I think you have to have it in the playing field.
Correct.
You know, so since it was a foul ball, went off to Molina in foul territory, it's not a catch.
0-2 pitch, ripped, fair. Down into the corner on a pitch that was up from Wainwright.
Barmes has had good success against Wainwright in the past and the Cardinals. Barmes, oh no, he doesn't. He was 1 for 7, but he was hitting over 500 against Cardinal pitching this year. As that ball a little bit more of the plate than Adam wanted, and he hits his second double down in the left field corner.
So 2 for 2, pair of doubles, and now 3 consecutive hits against Adam Wainwright to start the bottom of the fourth. Joe Thurston, the third baseman of the Cardinals, in to visit with Wainwright as Jimenez is coming up in a sacrifice situation here.
And another reason why this is a very important game for Colorado is that Pittsburgh is taking the lead over the Dodgers. Colorado will play Milwaukee after an off day on Monday, but their final 3 games are against the Dodgers. So if they can close that gap, things could be interesting in the West.
So Barry Weinberg now has been called out along with Tony La Russa.
Well, I think they're going to look at Molina. It's not Wainwright. And you know how tough he is, and he's coming out of this game. Again, we'll take the bunt attempt as it goes right in the knee. And you got those shin guards, but on occasion you'll get in between those folds and hit right on the bone, and it's just no protection there on that kneecap.
I believe this is the place a couple of years ago where Molina got hurt with a foul tip on his hand and had to miss time, and then Gary Bennett was the backup that was thrust into the starter's role at that time.
Wainwright is not exactly what he needs. There's a little delay right here, and we would assume that Jason LaRue would be the one.
And while we have a moment, Matt Pagnazzi could be another guy that is in that dugout as well. The Aflac trivia question: what 2 players are tied at 12 for the most teams played with? Aflac trivia question.
Gotta be Mike Morgan.
Ron Vallone. Knew Vallone, figured out Morgan as we went along. So Jason LaRue, the backup and the former everyday catcher of the Reds, takes over for Molina behind home plate. And you would hope, Al, that this is just a precautionary thing where they say, okay, let's take care of the knee right now with Molina if it's starting to swell up or whatever the case may be, but be very cautious with it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. I mean, it's going to be sore, but I don't think it's going to be something that is going to be a major problem for Tony. But this is one of the reasons why you have that Pagnazzi comes up, you know, to have a third catcher.
And you're thrust into a situation here if you're LaRue. It's a bunting situation, nobody out. And it's 1 strike on Jimenez. No balls, 1 strike.
Very quickly, you know, LaRue has to kind of get into the flow of the game. And
strike 2. And we said it earlier, you have to try to get to Jimenez quickly, and true to form, after that rough first inning, he's been just about unhittable. Cardinals have 1 base hit. That was Rasmus, a little flare. And since then, he has struck out 4 and gotten 5 ground ball outs to go along with that single.
With the 3 consecutive hits by the Rockies right now, they have 7 against Wainwright.
Out hit the Cardinals tonight. 3-3 game here in the 4th.
That's hard to believe that they didn't get a call on that one, as looked like Jimenez trying to bunt all the way and did not really pull the bat back. Actually went down on his knees attempting to bunt it. Well, from that angle, he does pull it back. Remember, he's hitting over 200. Not unreasonable for him to pull the bat back and swing away.
2 strikes now on him. Pulls it back that time for a ball, 2-2. Well, Brendan Ryan is trying to keep the runner at second close, Barmes, and then quickly go to third, depending on where this bunt goes, to cover up over at third base if need be.
Albert's almost even with the pitcher's mound, extremely aggressive. The defense is to get the lead or get the runner at third base.
2-2. He got him on the outside corner. No argument from Jimenez. And that's 6 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright.
He's at 199 now on the season. Came in 5th place in the strikeouts.
Carlos Gonzalez 1 for 2 tonight. Popped out to third and singled in the first. Curveball and a strike. So the home run by Hopp, his 21st, RBIs 80 and 81 to tie this game up. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Off the end of the bat, Wainwright to third, and the tag is there.
Well, Adam is a tremendous athlete, and he just demonstrated with that play. 6'7", but look how athletic he feels this ball, and then gets the ball to Thurston, who applies the tag. That's a tremendous play and athleticism by Adam Wainwright.
Perfect throw right on the bag. And clearly the tag there, and now there's 2 outs with the runner at first. Dexter Fowler, the hitter. As we saw last night, late in games now for Jim Tracy, Jason Giambi. Fowler bunts to Thurston, low throw. Pujols is there. Rockies have tied it up. We move to the 5th, 3-3. It's time to bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Joe Thurston leads it off, and the first pitch is swung on and missed. Ubaldo Jimenez pitched in the World Series in '07. Had fewer than 90 innings his major league career when they went into postseason play. Little chopper, Helton spins. Jimenez leads him perfectly. He should lead those guys perfectly. That's right. You know, we're playing on a college football Saturday, and the former Tennessee Volunteer just led him perfectly. Former quarterback. He and Peyton Manning forever linked at Tennessee.
I think he'd be a backup to somebody pretty good.
And he's pretty good.
Yes, he is.
Here's Brendan Ryan, who grounded out to short first time up. Blake Street Bombers that were here, and you know, some of the different faces that have come through this franchise. Is there any doubt that Helton is the face of the Colorado Rockies franchise in your mind?
No.
I mean, Larry Walker had great years here. Vinny Castilla, Andres Galarraga. It's bunted foul.
But those, you know, if you're going to have faces, you better have somebody that's current.
And longevity, and you know, Helton is a guy that will probably finish his career here. Let's talk a couple years ago, he was going to wind up in Boston.
Right, and I'm sure Todd would tell you how much those other guys have helped him become the player that he is.
Can report on Yadier Molina from the clubhouse. The official report, I think we could have figured this one out. Bruised left knee and listed at day to day. One out, nobody on. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Cardinals shortstop. 3-3 game. And the ground ball hit to second. All of a sudden, these bats have gone cold.
That's kind of what we expected, that Jimenez, you know, if you're going to get to him, you got to get to him early. And then now you kind of wonder about his pitch count. It's at 69 pitches, so he's still got left in the tank.
The Cardinals are 5-8 in their last 13 games. In the 8 losses, they've hit just .229 as a team and averaging under 2 runs a game. And with the kind of names they have in this lineup, that's hard to believe. Line shot off the bat of Wainwright into left center field. And Adam has himself a 2-out double. Just the second Cardinal hit since the first inning.
And won by the pitcher. So Adam trying to do everything he can to make this be a memorable night in a very favorable way.
And to kind of follow up on the thought of the lack of offense, last 45 games, out 21 of those, the Cardinals have scored 3 runs or below that. I mean, that's hard to believe too. But what it tells you in this run the Cardinals have had, it's come down to their pitching, and they have pitched.
No doubt about it. And they're going to need to continue to pitch. You know, you get into postseason play, every game is going to be a pretty good matchup pitching wise, and runs are going to be at a premium.
Schumacher tonight is grounded out to first and walked.
Timely hits, 2-out base hits. Those are what wins you ball games, and that's what Schumacher can do right now. He can help out his cause.
Cardinals had a 2-out single and an RBI in the first inning off the bat of Molina, who is now left.
Skip is 17 for his last 39.
One and 2 the count on the Cardinal leadoff man. Time called. Game of superstitions, and you see Skip Schumacher do that time and again. Step out, readjust the batting gloves.
You just want to make sure it's tight as can be, and you take that one little practice swing and loosen up a bit. Were you superstitious?
Try not to step on the line. And you?
I had my little quirky things, but not as bad as some.
I mean, there's some that are it just one feeds off the next.
Sure.
Comes to a point where it affects play even.
But you try to do things, you know, try and make everything routine and try and follow the patterns.
And you could see Jimenez With his catcher, Torrey Alba, those two have just not been on the same page in this at bat, have they?
It's a little bit strange when it's been this late in the season that you're really not getting together on the same page with your pitcher and catcher. There have been times where pitchers will call out their catchers and say, hey, you know, I'm having a hard enough time beating the other team. I don't need to beat you on top of it.
Schumacher lifts it the other way and out of play. But also, you start getting later into a game, Al, and you know this. Every pitch has greater importance. And for both these teams, this game is big. And there's a runner out at second base. And to me, that's why postseason play, many of the games take forever. Because it's like they second guess everything they're about to do.
Yeah, and well, like you said, you know, runs are at a premium. So, you know, the importance of every pitch can determine the outcome.
Slowly hit, but foul. Mentioned that Atlanta beat Washington today 11-5. Cubs over San Francisco 6-2. Yankees over Boston 3-0. In the 8th, Minnesota leading Kansas City. Important game there, 11-4. And Detroit has come back against the White Sox. They lead it 11-5. And a walk to Schumacher. So that's a third walk issued by Jimenez. Here's Rasmus, who has scored a run tonight. First run of the ball game, back in the first, and singled in the third.
It's in the 8th inning, but Milwaukee's come up with a couple runs to tie Philadelphia.
5-5 in that game.
So what do you think Charlie Manuel's thinking?
2 outs, 2 on. So real big at bat right here for a couple of reasons. You've got a guy in scoring position, 2 runners on, and if you can extend the inning, Pujols will come up with a chance to do some damage.
And after the walk, Rasmus looks at the first delivery for a ball. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He had the other hit since the first inning.
2-0. Wouldn't it be something to see Albert come up one more time with the bases loaded?
With the bases loaded, where he's had a lot of success this season.
Has he ever?
30 or more RBIs this season with bases loaded situation.
5 grand slams. That's a strike. One in the, or rather, 2 balls and 1 strike.
I haven't really seen Kobe take a lot of balls the other way. And this may be one of those times, pitching him away.
Three and 1. Well, now, if you're Colby Rasmus, you can be awfully selective. And you would figure you're going to get a real nice pitch to hit with Pujols on deck. He does not want to face Pujols with the bases loaded.
Look for one zone. Got the slider. He's thinking fastball all the way. Got a slider, and good pitchers, if they can throw an off-speed pitch when they're behind in the count, you're going to get so many people just locked in thinking they're going to get a fastball, and then you don't pick up the spin at all. Sometimes you throw what you throw on 2-2 is what you're going to throw on 3-2. If you can throw a breaking ball here, you get him.
Runners go. He got him. Comes back to get Rasmus. Friday, October 2nd, Ozzie Smith bobblehead night at Busch Stadium. 25,000 fans will take home a bobblehead featuring Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, courtesy of Coca-Cola. For tickets, visit STOCardinals.com.
Got one defensive change, and that's DeRosa comes in this ball game. play third base, and batting 7th in Joe Thurston's spot.
So after that first inning by Jimenez, he's gone the last 4 with 5 strikeouts, 2 hits, and a walk. Helton, Tulowitzki, and Stewart.
Todd is 2 for 2 against Adam tonight.
A single in the first, doubled and scored his second time up.
Good ahead breaking ball there. It's Helton just looking for something else, so he looks at it.
Big strikeout for Jimenez to get Colby Rasmus, the biggest strikeout of this game.
And he threw back-to-back sliders, and he fell behind the count 3-1.
We mentioned the name of Giambi before, and we saw him with a huge base hit last night in a pinch hitting role. And the Rockies, if they get into postseason play, really have to think closely about making sure he's on their roster.
Well, he's already won 3 ball games, and as you said, he set up the game-winning sac fly with his base hit last night, so I don't think there's any way you can keep him out of it.
He's now 9 for his last 17. Pinch hitting, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. Pulled foul.
Throwing that cutter in on him, and everything you do is foul it off.
Don Baylor in that dugout.
Yeah.
Huh?
Don Baylor, first managers in Rockies history, former batting coach for the Cardinals.
Curveball misses outside. Remember what he did with Andres Galarraga. He was in St. Louis for a brief year, and that was it. But he really started to turn things around in the second half of his season with the Cardinals. They picked him up here with the Rockies, and he just took off.
Great story. And then he had the cancer. Looks like cutter.
Remember how he turned his body and opened his body up a little bit with 2 eyes facing the pitcher.
And that was Don Baylor tried to do that just so he could see the ball a lot better, and with great results. What was it, first or second game he broke his hand with the Cardinals.
This may be the change up here. It was 3-2.
It's a little too hard. 85 miles an hour. Good ball outside.
Helton lifts it the other way. Holiday hustling for it. Runs out of room. So one thing with Wainwright, with that tremendous curveball, and the fact that he could spot it too. You know, so you have a situation here 3-2. You certainly don't want to groove one to Todd Helton, so you spot that breaking ball, and just a little bit tougher for a tremendous hitter. Well, you can see that Wainwright and LaRue are talking here, and you would assume, Al, that they're probably right now deciding on the pitch, and you may not even see signals drop down from Jason LaRue.
No doubt about it. And if you showed signals, it would only be for your infielders. But you already discussed what you want to do right now. See, no signal at all. Good piece of hitting.
Yes, man, sure is.
Showed you why he's 300-plus hitter, 4th in the National League right now, or came in, and he's added to it as he's batting 320 now. So he spoiled the fastball away. Now didn't want the sinker. Here comes the curveball.
Past Wainwright and a base hit. He almost came up with it. 3-hit night for Todd Helton. Watch the Cardinals take on the Brewers in the last Saturday regular season game, October 3rd, and take home a photo baseball featuring Cardinals outfielder Matt Holliday. 25,000 fans received the Matt Holliday photo baseball courtesy of Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. For tickets, visit STLCardinals.com.
Sure, that'll be a nice keepsake, and probably an additional premium item that was added from the season. Reward the fans that come to those turnstiles again.
Tulowitzki. Popped up. Right side. Pujols will give chase. Schumacher as well. Albert over. Makes the catch. Oh, what a play. And LaRue is moving behind Helton. Heads up play by Jason LaRue, and also kept it in front. But what a play by Pujols.
Albert's made 11 errors this season, but some of those have come in bunches. Many of them were early, but this is more indicative of the fielder that he is. And didn't think there was any way, and then always instinctive. You know, he's ready for the next element. After the catch, he turns around, fires it. LaRue was right there trying to get the force out on Helton at first.
Boy, back to the infield. Pretty long way to go. High pop up and a big out. Tulowitzki retired for the first out. Now Wainwright needs a double play. Ian Stewart is flied out to left and struck out in the third. Adam Wainwright is struck out 6 this evening. Pretty good pitch and does not get the call. 2 balls, no strikes. Tomorrow, Kyle Loesch and Jorge De La Rosa. De La Rosa's had a nice year, 15 wins.
Had a rough outing, I think his last one, but he has come on strong the second half also.
And Kyle Loesch coming off a very good start. Down year for him, kind of a lost year as he's been injured for a good portion of it. 6 and 8. First year of a 4-year deal with the Cardinals.
2 disablements that, the forearm strain has really lingered for quite a while, and that all started being hit by a pitch, and then he had a groin pull.
Detroit holds on over the White Sox 12-5. In the 8th, Minnesota leading Kansas City 11-4. Center field. Rasmus on the move. He makes the catch on the run. Helton has to retreat. Heads back to first. Fine play made by Colby Rasmus, who struck out to end the top of the 5th, but he doesn't take it out in the field. This is a good play.
That's a good point, Dan. Fastball up out of the way. He's playing relatively shallow, so he had to go back quickly on that ball. Over the shoulder catch, and Helton had already round second base, so he's watching the play. All right, got to the second base and then hustling back.
Spacious outfield, to say the least. And 2 fine defensive plays made for Wainwright behind him here in the bottom of this 5th inning. Here's Torey Alba with a runner at first base. That basically is the final division that is not settled. The American League Central. Detroit leading Minnesota by 2 games. You want intrigue? You've got it. Just look at the American League Central.
The Rockies are focused on the wild card, and they're going to have a tough time. They've got Milwaukee coming in here after that. Then they go to the Dodgers. But they could get close. They could make it interesting. Dodgers have taken the lead at Pittsburgh, and they're in the 9th inning now with a 3-run lead, 7-4.
Pittsburgh closing in on 100 losses, being 96 tonight if they cannot come back. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Little check swing and a strikeout of Torey Alba. Not even an appeal as the tag is applied by Yadier Molina. 7 strikeouts for Wainwright. Tomorrow, Fox NFL Sunday returns. The Rams play their home opener against the Packers, or the 49ers take on Brett Favre and the Vikings. The Bears battle the Seahawks or Drew Brees, and the Saints square off against Terrell Owens and the Bills. Coverage begins tomorrow with America's #1 pregame show at 11 a.m. Central.
Well, Torrey Alba and our home plate umpire, Sonia, are best friends now.
They made up, huh?
They've made up. It's not always easy, is it?
Torrey Alba, all he wanted was the appeal and didn't get that on his check swing. And it was a strikeout for Wainwright, his 7th tonight. Albert Pujols has bounced into a 6-4-3 double play and walked and scored in the first. Pops it up. Playable. Helton called off by Barmes, who makes the catch.
And you kind of get the idea that this game may come down to a home run.
Yeah.
And both teams have plenty of firepower. I know if that's the case, Holiday would love to be the have the winning blow.
His last home run was the walk-off homer that he had against Chicago. And Holiday rips it out to left, but it's caught. Carlos Gonzalez there.
Like Gonzalez almost misjudged that. It was coming in a little too quickly, and he thought it might have taken off and get over his head.
Rick Ankiel with 2 outs, and Jimenez trying to make quick work of the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th. It'll be Hop, Barmes, and Jimenez coming up for the Rockies in their half of the 6th. Still throwing hard, 98 on that pitch.
89th pitch of the night, and
high strike on Ankiel.
so that's that. It's been consistent with it all night, but rarely do you find that ball called a strike. In the 70s, yes. Not now.
0-2 to Ricky Ankiel. Trying to put a fastball by him at 99. RBI back in the first inning for Ricky Ankiel, his 38th, and then struck out in the 4th. Jimenez trying to pick up his 6th strikeout tonight.
Torrey Alba asked for it down.
And he got it there.
He got it.
It's twice now. Give Torrey Alba a little credit with a block. You never know with a guy chasing it. You keep it in front.
Well, strike out.
It's a good play.
You know, and then gets by and end up getting on base.
2-2 pitch. 7, 8, and 9 coming up for Colorado. And back in the 4th, it was a 2-run shot by Brad Hopp the other way to tie it up at 3-3. He's coming up in the bottom of the 6th. Baseball tonight brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Powerful, lightweight, dependable, versatile. Yard care solutions start at steelbuilders.com. And the new 3rd-pound Angus burgers are here. Try one for yourself today only at McDonald's. Underway, bottom of the 6th, 3-3 game. Well played again, partner, here tonight as we could have another ball game come right down to the very end.
The way it should be.
Center, Rasmus won't get it. To the wall it goes. Hop on his way to second with a double.
Like Kobe did not read this one off the bat as well as he did the time before. As watch center fielder out there kind of hesitates, and then he starts breaking on it, and the ball gets over his head all the way to the wall, and a double. So Hop has been the big bat, and with that leadoff double, the 8th place hitter Barmes, who's 2 for 2, coming up here. And remember, you have DeRosa now playing third base. Pitcher spot on deck.
Barmes a pair of doubles. Go ahead run in scoring position. 3-3 here in the 6th.
See him really there trying to guide that ball to the right side to advance the runner at the very least. Barmes got 76 RBIs this season, 23 home runs, career highs.
At the feet of LaRue. Barmes from Indiana State University and the St. Louis-based Missouri Valley Conference.
Vincennes, right?
As you said earlier, grew up a fan of the Cardinals. Favorite player, Ozzie Smith. The 1-1 pitch to Barmes. Popped up into center and not a productive out there. You could see, as you mentioned, he was trying to go to the right side at least, and this time he puts it in the air. Colby puts it away, and there's one out.
All three pitches to Barmes were the same. And it's a slider, cutter, whatever you want to talk about. Up and in, really didn't get on top of it. There he does get on top of one there. And then another one that's really up, but trying to go the other way, he almost jams himself.
One out, runner at second base.
Now, this interesting thing here was you almost wondered why Jim Tracy didn't have a reliever getting up just in case he wanted to pinch hit.
Slowly hit to short. Brendan Ryan up with it. Makes the play. 2 outs.
But slow enough that the runner was able to advance to third base.
I guess the only thing you can look at is that his starter is rolling along so well. You know, you trust him to get you maybe 2 more innings, and you hope that your offense can get you a run. Scratch out 1 run.
He's in his 90s in his pitch count.
Yeah.
And I mean, just, you know, what if, you know, Barmes would have gotten him over. You know, you just have that option.
As we talked about, you know, 1 run could be the difference tonight. Good pitch. A swing and a miss by Carlos Gonzalez.
Wainwright really has the option, you know, to where, you know, he has the way to get out of this inning. With 2 outs now, he can strand that runner, be a big emotional lift, bring his offense up too.
The 0-1. Oh, 2.
Good curveball there. You can see he feels it.
Gonzalez singled back in the first, his only hit tonight.
Remember how well his hits have been to left field. You know, the hit last night and again tonight. The curveball.
Got him to chase. LaRue blocked it. He'll throw it to first. Pujols there. That's 8 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright tonight. LaRue, DeRosa, and Brendan Ryan coming up. Big Ten football 4-pack Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. only on the Big Ten Network. All your football highlights.
Adam Wainwright, strong performance, as well as Jimenez.
Jason LaRue, high fly ball, deep left field. Did he get enough? It's out of here! The Cardinals go on top. LaRue with just his 2nd home run of the year, and it's 4-3 St. Louis. Filling in for the injured Yadier Molina, Jason LaRue puts the Cardinals on top here in the 7th.
What was your reference when Molina got hurt before? As you see the hanging breaking ball and just gets enough of it. The backup catcher a couple years ago that had the grand slam and against the Cubs and another home run.
Gary Bennett.
Gary Bennett. Reminiscent.
Jason LaRue has made it 4-3. Line shot. Tulowitzki makes the play to his left and takes the hit away from DeRosa. And he can't believe it.
Adam Wainwright getting the helmet on right now, but he's given another life as LaRue comes through for him and gives him that lead late.
Brendan Ryan, fastball at 96 and a strike.
Charlie Manuel can't be sleeping well again. That was 5-5, and they lose 7-5 with Milwaukee scoring 2 in the 9th.
Breaking ball and a strike. Jason LaRue, his first home run since May 7th. And Ryan strikes out. Jimenez has struck out 7. Hardy's prime cut of the game off the bat of backup catcher Jason LaRue.
Jason always prepared. It's a slider that just sat right there, hung up for him, and he was a regular every day, but you'll have to ask him how that ranks. It could be the biggest hit of his career.
That pitch in the dirt to Wainwright. The 7th inning, the bottom half, a big inning for Adam and the Cardinals. It'll be Fowler, then Helton to Tulowitzki. If anybody reaches, then Stewart. 1-0 pitch. Wainwright doubled. Back in the 5th. You always ask your guys to be ready.
Oh, yes.
And LaRue is ready.
And that's what's so great about these close ball games is with all the sluggers in both these lineups, you always wonder who. As Denny's Reyes and Kyle McClellan, as Tony's surveying and in his mind figuring out every scenario that is going to happen in this game from this point forward.
And with them getting up, that doesn't mean that they would start the bottom of the 7th. If that was the case, you'd pinch hit for Wainwright here.
Exactly.
Little hanger, and that's popped back and foul. And no activity for the Rockies in their pen. One-two pitch. Still a ways to go in this season, but that could be one of the thrills of this year, that home run by LaRue just moments ago.
No doubt about it, being a clinching blow. But as you said, there's a lot of game left.
Wainwright hits it out to left. Extra bases again. Adam digging for 2. He's got his second double tonight. Boy, is he a good athlete or what?
Don't play him in golf.
Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service. Go online to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee. That is a big, big run out there.
One of Adam's best friends is at the plate. And now Apodaca, the pitching coach, will go out and talk to Jimenez. They're scrambling in the bullpen, and someone's going to get up.
Well, I agree with you, Al, from the standpoint of before not to even have somebody up, and then just watching a home run, a line out, and a double, and now they finally get somebody up and throwing.
Joe Beimel is warming up. I think it was Daly, the right-hander, joining him. But, managers today take really good. They try to really take good care of the bullpen guys, and they don't try to just have wasted warm-ups. But there are some times, you just got to, say, I want to have the option to pinch hit. I want to have a reliever ready just in case I decide to do that.
First pitch A ball to Schumacher, the Cardinal leadoff man, back to the top of the St. Louis lineup. Skip has walked twice tonight. The other time he grounded out to Helton. Colby Rasmus on deck. Some of these pitches have been up in the zone. You wonder if he's starting to labor now.
That's one of the telltale signs when a pitcher starts to labor or starts to tire. The legs are the first to go, and you elevate the ball. Going 110 pitches, which really isn't that many for what they have on the line.
If they would happen to get to Beimel, of course, Tony La Russa could counter then with Ludwig.
Absolutely. And you know, that's what you're doing. You know, you as a manager, and Tracy knows that. He knows what Tony has on the bench, but sometimes you'll say, okay, I'd rather have my left-hander even face the right-handed pinch hitter.
Three and two.
Schumacher's walked twice today. He's 0 for 1. See if he doesn't go to the breaking pitches again.
Ground ball to first. Jimenez comes back to get him. Time to stretch. And a home run from Jason LaRue, the backup catcher tonight, has made it 4-3 midway through 7. Let's take a look at the game recap presented by Infinity. Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. The magic number at 1 for St. Louis. They lead this ball game 4-3. Matt Holliday has an RBI base hit tonight. His return to Coors Field. Brad Hoff at opposite field home run. That tied it up at 3-3, but the Cardinals in the top of the 7th. Jason LaRue, just his 2nd of the year. And with that home run, he's given the Cardinals a 4-3 lead. Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter, Todd Helton and Troy Tulowitzki against Adam Wainwright. He's had 103 pitches on the night.
And he's going to be going probably to see if he allows one base runner if he's out of this ball game. So he's going to pitch very intently to avoid that.
There's a backhanded play by Pujols, a race to the bag. He beat him. Takes the hit away from Dexter Fowler, and that speed is off the bases. Big play there.
Albert ranges further to his right than any first baseman we've seen. Gets over there. Adam was right there to receive it, but Albert wins the foot race as he scrambles back to the bag, sliding into it. That is huge to keep Fowler and his speed off the base paths.
Todd Helton.
He's 3 for 3.
2 singles and a double, a run scored tonight. There's a big gap in the left center field for Todd Helton. It looks like Rasmus is playing fairly shallow too, but it is such a big outfield, it's tough to tell.
Correct. And very few times now Reyes is set down, just McClellan is warming up.
Ground ball, Schumacher to his left, gets up and makes the play. 2 fine defensive plays from Skip Schumacher and Albert Pujols here in the bottom of the 7th.
Oh, the defense was big back in the 5th inning behind Wainwright, and they come up again. Schumacher, look at how deep, playing in so deep, allowed him to get to that ball deep on the outfield grass, and he's got that strong throwing arm. He had plenty to spare.
3 pitches, 2 outs.
Guys just don't work the counts like they used to with a starter late in the game, trying to get their pitch count up. It's at 107 pitches now, and you're almost doing him a favor by swinging at the first pitch or 2. Cardinals did the same thing.
Troy Tulowitzki. Reached on an air back in the third by Joe Thurston. Has popped out twice. You know, if you're Tony La Russa, and you know he's thinking about this, if Wainwright would be able to get Troy Tulowitzki even roughly around 110 pitches, does he send him back out there for the 8th? And I would assume the answer is yes. He's gone deep with him before.
He has. And
he's the one guy, Al, that they've really stretched out this year and allowed to go deeper into games than others.
And we touched on it because he throws so few pitches in the bullpen in preparation for a start. They really feel that he has a lot pitches more. You know, when he's at 109 pitches, it'd be like somebody else at 130 or 40.
Back to Wainwright. The defense has put the Cardinals within 6 outs of the NL Central Championship. Pujols took the hit away from Fowler. Then off the bat of Todd Helton, Schumacher, and then Adam Wainwright helping his own cause. 4-3 after 7. What's on tap is brought to you by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. It'll be the Cardinals and the Rockies 1:30 tomorrow on KSDK. Ricky Horton and Jay Randolph will bring that to you. What's on tap presented by Bud Light. Cal Loesch and Jorge De La Rosa. Let's take a look at our Chevy call to the bullpen. There's a look at LaRue. He could be a hero here tonight with his home run to put the Cardinals back on top 4-3. Second night that we've seen Jose Contreras.
He was very good in last night's ball game. As having another veteran came over from the White Sox, and he had plenty in the tank last night as he just blew the Cardinals away.
Be Colby Rasmus for St. Louis. Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday. Remember Contreras back in 05 with the White Sox and how good he was in postseason play. 3-1 ERA, just over 3. And there's a ground ball taken by Barmes. 1 pitch and 1 away. And we turn now to the Cabot Woodstein flashback. Mike Piazza. 1997, the Dodgers' Mike Piazza hits the longest home run. Look at that in Coors Field history. That was before the humidor, 496 feet. 12-time All-Star Mike Piazza. You might remember a 62nd round pick by the Dodgers.
Yeah, but I would think that back then that they would have had somebody hit something over 500.
McGuire just didn't play here enough, I guess.
Oh, just any of the Rockies, Blake Street Bombers.
One-0 pitch to Pujols. Albert out to left. Just got under it.
You feel when it left the bat how many people thought that was number 48. But watching the left fielder, he told you it was going to stay in the park.
Some boos from Matt Holliday. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the 8th, 4-3 St. Louis. And right now we have not seen any more activity in that Cardinal bullpen. Jimenez goes 7 innings tonight and gives up the 4 runs. Holliday, good rip and fouls it back. Contreras played 7 years for the Cuban national team. He was Cuba's male athlete of the year 3 different times. Holliday lined out his last time up. Wainwright just watching. 7 innings. Already in the books for Adam. Cincinnati over Houston 10-4. Dodgers beat Pittsburgh 8-4. The Cubs won. That's why this magic number is still at 1. Atlanta over Washington. If the Cardinals would hold on, they clinch the National League Central Division, and Colorado then would only be 2.5 in front of Atlanta.
Right. So big game for both these teams, and much bigger for the Rockies.
And a walk to Holiday. On base for the second time, and right fielder Ricky Ankiel will be the hitter. Julio Lugo will pinch run for Matt Holiday.
Matt hasn't been running, you know, he might have something bugging him a little bit, but he has not been running as well. As I don't think you would ever do this in a one-run game, pinch run for his big bat.
So 2 outs and a runner at first. Ankiel breaks his bat, pops it up. Barmes has it. And the threat is through for the Cardinals. They have stranded 4 tonight. Bottom of the 8th rolls in when we come back. 4-3 St. Louis. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. By Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Lock in $1.49 a gallon for a year's worth of gas. Visit your St. Louis Hyundai dealers today. And by Ameristar. More casino, more fun. Bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Cardinals. Ian Stewart, Yorby Torrealba, and Brad Hawpe for the Rockies. Wainwright, first pitch is taken for a ball. And that's now 111 pitches tonight for the co-ace of the Cardinals.
Got 2 left-handers, 2 left-handed batters in this first 3 hitters. Stewart is 0 for 3.
And Stewart was robbed his last time up by center fielder Kobe Rasmus, who made a fine play. The 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes.
Very good defense behind Adam Wainwright here tonight. He's been doing his share with 8 strikeouts.
A 3-1 pitch. We just got the feel of a playoff game tonight on both sides.
Right.
Packed house and huge implications for both sides in this game.
Threw his cutter right there to get it to a full count. See if he does that again. Last thing you want to do is walk a man.
And he got him. Called third strike. No argument there from Ian Stewart. A 3-2 breaking ball. How about that? 9 strikeouts for Wainwright.
Curveball, and it's kind of sitting there and everything, but Stewart looking for something other, couldn't pull the trigger.
So again, Chicago is 1. Magic number at 1 for the Cardinals tonight. Yorby Torrealba.
Pair of strikeouts with a single in between.
Torrealba base hit past DeRosa. Tying run on. Go ahead run will come to the plate. You saw Schumacher there. He's now your left fielder as Lugo stayed in the ballgame after pinch running for Holiday.
Rosa kind of guarding the line, and so you give a lot of hits to your left, and that was the case right there. And now with the left-hander Hop coming up here, Dave Duncan is going to go out and pay a visit. Maybe just a question of how do you feel, which is sometimes not fair to ask a pitcher,
because he's going to say, I feel great.
Yeah, and you know, you try and say, be honest, and what happens a lot of times is Trevor Miller is ready, if need be, is you say, be honest. Well, if you say, you know, and you have to say you feel like you can stay in the ball game, and then if you stay in the ball game and give up a base hit, then they chastise you for staying there. If you say I want to come out, then they say you don't have guts.
And we see a pinch runner now. That's Eric Young Jr. And he tested Molina last night and was caught stealing. But tonight it's LaRue in there filling in for the injured Molina. That injury not expected to be serious. Took a foul ball off his knee. There's Brad Hop. And Miller, by the way, took the loss last night.
And it was the walk, leadoff walk, that came around and did him in.
You know, Eric Young, we talked about it. It's Eric Young Jr. Of course, EY played senior here in Colorado. 303 steals in 568 career minor league games. So he has tremendous speed over there at first.
Got the big lead, and Lugo.
And Al, once you feel as they'll try a pick off. Oh, they almost got him. And Pujols is pleading his case. This is a situation here, and Tony La Russa is going to come out and argue, but with a guy like Wainwright who's throwing so many breaking balls, it could be at a real advantage here for Eric Young Jr.
You're right about that, and let's see if they get the. Oh, he looks like he got him. A controversial call last night, you know, went in the Cardinals' favor, and this one goes to the Rockies' favor. As watched as it's like he slides, come back in there, and the tag is applied right before he gets there. But umpire had a great look.
Talked last night how Young, first two times he made it on base in the major leagues, he was picked off.
Well, he almost did it again. He got thrown out last night, as you said, by plenty with Molina's shotgun arm. That lead maybe slowed up just a little bit.
Not running.
Curveball there. That would have been the pitch to pick up. You know, the other thing too, Dan, when you throw so many curveballs, you have to hang a couple.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brad Hop, opposite field, 2-run homer to tie it up at 3. That was back in the 4th, and he doubled in the 6th.
Close play there. As Wainwright paying a lot of attention to him, rightfully so, but Hop came into this game with only 1 hit on the homestand, and that was a home run. He's added to that with a 2-run home run and a double tonight.
He's going. Nope. Stopped. Started, then stopped. And it's fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now would it be a strike him out, throw him out?
This time he is running. The pitch is taken for a ball and a stolen base.
Got a curveball, That's the difference. Slower pitch, quick release by LaRue, but by throwing the curveball, you know, he's able to get in there ahead of the tag. But you also, as the responsibility of the catcher, is you got to call your game to get that hitter out. You know, you just take your chance, and you know, if you just throw all fastballs trying to guard against it, you give a good chance it comes a 2-run home run or the base hit. So you call the pitch you think is going to get the hitter out.
Tying run at second base. 2-2 the count. Pitch number 122 on its way.
It's not ball 4. It's 3-2 now.
This copyrighted telecast, and they're going to bring him back, is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
We had talked about how coming into this game, Hop was walking a lot more, and I guess almost thinks that that's his best way to get on. Right? So you go down on ball 3. That's kind of like passing the buck, isn't it?
Big pitch right here, 3-2. Don't have to give in to him though. First base open. And Barmes on deck.
How much does Wainwright have left in the tank? Pitch count 123. We talked about it, that he has thrown more pitches than any pitcher in the National League this year.
That's his first walk. LaRue looking into the Cardinal dugout.
That to me is you almost wonder if LaRue is sending a message to Tony La Russa. But I don't think anybody's warming up for the Cardinals. Now I can see a lefty. So Trevor is back up.
Seth Smith has moved to the on-deck circle in the pitcher spot, which is Contreras. A lot of times when you see that, it's allowing someone to get loose in the bullpen and extend it, but
if Trevor's loose,
yeah, he should be ready.
This is Wainwright's last hitter.
Needs a double play. Clint Barmes, pair of doubles, and is also flied out to center. First and second with one out. Will find the seats out of play down the right field line. So now he's got him 0-2.
Barmes is 11 for his last 20. 2 for 3 tonight with a pair of doubles. He's hit in 5 of his last 6 games, all of them multi-hit games.
He got him. 10 strikeouts tonight for Adam Wainwright. 10.
Who's going to be the pinch hitter as the breaking ball? And he's going on fumes right now.
It's got to be Giambi.
Here's Giambi. He has become a fan favorite very quickly, hasn't he?
Yep.
You kind of knew this game was going to boil down to where he was going to have a dramatic pinch hitting appearance.
You've had the lefty Miller getting loose. Giambi, if you're wondering, is 2 for 10 against Trevor Miller.
This is an interesting call. You know, Trevor Miller's been so good all year, but here's a Cy Young candidate. You wouldn't be in this position for what Adam has done this year. And I think right now they're going to let him. They're going to let Adam have this dramatic hit.
First pitch to Giambi. Curveball and a strike. You said this is interesting. This is as good as it gets in baseball.
And it's not the 9th inning yet.
Giambi has just been tremendous in this spot with the Rockies.
It's the bottom of the 8th inning, but this is, as you say, this is a tester for playoffs. Well, 93 miles an hour from Wainwright. .129th pitch on its way.
Two strikes.
The old days, Dan, you know, a starter would usually throw 120 to 130, and they'd usually be a complete game. This is where you almost revert back to when you were a closer, Adam Wainwright. You just go out there and get that final strike.
He got him. It's a called third strike. Wainwright has struck out 11 tonight. Strikes out the side here in the 8th. They can't believe it. Wainwright's reaction. Eleven strikeouts tonight for Adam Wainwright. 4-3 Cardinals as we move to the 9th. The Cardinals roll the dice with Wainwright, and a curveball that has frozen so many over the years freezes Jason Giambi with the game on the line.
Now, I think it's a strike, but what makes it look bad is that LaRue was set up outside, and you see how he has all that movement reaching. But look at that emotional response from Wainwright. His night is through, and I think he did his job.
So a new pitcher in, Matt Daly, and our Chevy called to the bullpen.
Daly has been very reliable, very tough on right-handers. They're batting 181 against him.
They say he's very deceptive, and you can see why, the way that he kind of closes his front shoulder, hides the ball.
Undrafted out of college and has become the 23rd Bucknell alum to play in the major leagues.
And these fans, by the way, all over the home plate umpire. LaRue with a fly ball, shallow right center. One out. Jason LaRue, one of the biggest hits of the night, his home run to make it 4-3. If you're wondering about the Rockies, they will have the top of their lineup coming up, and Ryan Franklin is getting loose in the pen.
It's one of the questions is how is Franklin, is he as reliable now as he was earlier in the season when he was nearly perfect? I think both of us believe that he will be fine.
Franklin was on the pregame show, and one of the things that he said was that, you know, he feels his control the last few times out has been better. And most scouts will tell you he has to have pinpoint control to have success. He's not going to be a guy that comes in and just blows you away.
Well, his critics would tell you that, you know, when he was getting people out, he wasn't striking people out. But the problem, you know, so what? He was getting outs, and getting outs very quickly and efficiently. You know, he had a little spell where he needed some time off. Then he got too much time, and now he's getting back into a groove.
DeRosa did not start this ball game, and last time up he lined out in his first plate appearance to the shortstop Tulowitzki. Very fine play to his left and took a hit away. Those are the season numbers for DeRosa. 1-2 the count. And really, Al, in many ways, a pitcher's duel here tonight with both starters being very, very good.
Well, that's what happens right now is, we talk about the Cy Young, you talk about all these things. They'll take care of themselves with how you perform down the stretch.
A check swing. He went. I don't think anybody's happy in this game.
No, they're not. Brendan Ryan last time up when he struck out. Great reaction. He just kind of threw the bat and then you're like, oh, heck with it. But I think with these umpires' strike zone, it's forced guys to chase balls.
And that is a base hit off the bat of Brendan Ryan. Extra bases coming up, and it scoots past the left fielder. Ryan around second, and he'll stop there.
So he's far off the plate and gets a little slider that sits in the middle and goes out there and hooks the ball. Ludwig now will pinch hit for Adam Wainwright, and Apodaca out to give a little scouting report. That is a big run out there.
So Adam Wainwright with the 11 strikeouts tonight and 204 in this 2009 campaign as he is moving up the list. Single season Cardinals since 1973.
In line for his 19th victory.
So 2 outs and a runner at second. First plate appearance for Ryan Ludwig.
Ludwig with 90 RBIs. And a lot less playing time. Still a remarkable year for him.
One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, runner at second. Ludwig out to left. It's well hit, and this ball is gone over the wall. A 2-run homer for Ryan Ludwig here in the 9th. 6-3 Cardinals.
A little bit more of a smile in that dugout now. And Daly gets the first 2 out of the inning. The double by and look at this reaction from Adam.
And now a 3-run lead for the Cardinals, 6-3 here in the 9th.
Looked like Daly was just breezing along, and Brendan Ryan gets that double, hooks one in there, and then Ludwig.
Ground ball hit to short, and we move to the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals 3 outs away from clinching the National League Central Division. What a ball game this has been. 6-3, Cardinals on top. Players of the game presented by Budweiser. We've got 2 of them tonight. Adam Wainwright, who gives the Cardinals 8 strong innings, 11 strikeouts, and Jason LaRue, who untied it with his home run to make it 4-3. Ludwig his homer to make it 6-3. A 2-run homer in the top of the 9th. And the Cardinals closer is in, and it's Ryan Franklin trying to finish it off for the Cardinals.
It's been an interesting month after being the Major League's delivery man of the month for August. September has been know, it's been iffy. He's blown few games. He's blown a couple games and got wins in them, but trying to pick up his 38th save. And it's been a while since he's had one. A lot of people in Cardinal Nation are very concerned about Franklin, but I think he's going to be fine. It all kind of started when he started walking people. You know, he just didn't have that pinpoint control, giving up a lot more hits. But as he kind of mentioned, now he's getting back on track, able to make his location a lot better and not walking people. So I think he feels he's going to be fine.
Top of the lineup. First pitch is strike. Carlos Gonzalez has singled. He's popped out to third. Grounded back to Wainwright in the fourth and struck out in the sixth. Wainwright 11 strikeouts. 0-1 pitch. A little bit high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Wainwright, 3 runs, 2 were earned. Boy, how big was the 2-run home run by Ludwig? Give this little cushion. And don't count these Rockies out, because you mentioned they've been playing inspiring baseball. They've been coming from behind.
2-1 off of Franklin. He can't find it. Leadoff base hit.
Off his foot and went right in the air and straight up. He couldn't locate it.
Barry Weinberg is now out to check on Ryan Franklin.
He's probably going to wave him off instead of hit the sole of his shoe. I don't know. He's talking about maybe the instep a little bit, but
there's no way he is coming out of this game.
no. Been around too long. What do you say? It's about 9 years. So he does get the left leg. 9 years since he's popped champagne. You never know, Dan. You know, look at some of the guys like great players like Ernie Banks. Never taste victory in postseason. As great a career as Joe Torre had as a player, you know, he didn't reach it until he got to be a manager.
This is Seth Smith.
Albert playing behind there, and Franklin could get a lot of ground balls, so should take advantage. He gets the jump, take advantage, and get him out there to second base, eliminate that double play. Smith, 15 home runs, just a shade under 300 batting average.
One ball, 1 strike. Two-1 popped up, out of play.
Smith has just been an outstanding pinch hitter this season, as he leads Major League Baseball with a .500 average as a pinch hitter. Over his career, he's a .408 average as a pinch hitter, 31 for 76.
Two. Popped up right side. Lugo over, makes the catch. 2 outs away. We want to make sure that folks know if the Cardinals can hold on, Al and Jim will be down in the clubhouse with Tony and the players as they pop champagne. 2 outs away, though.
And Rockies, with Helton, Tulowitzki, they have a shot.
Far from over.
Absolutely.
Far from over. Runner at first, 1 out. Helton a 3-hit night, pair of singles and a double. Double play could end it.
Big for Franklin to come in here and have to face these guys, and especially after giving up the leadoff base hit.
The 0-1.
Tony's showing great confidence in him with all these left-handed batters that he did not have Trevor Miller or one of the lefties just to start the inning. Full confidence that Franklin will get the job done.
Helton has grounded into 14 double plays this year. Two-1 pitch. Up and away, 3-1. Last thing he wants to do is put the tying run at the plate. Tulowitzki is on deck.
It's the last thing you want to do, but sometimes it happens. And early in the season, remember how Franklin rarely would get to double figures in pitches in an inning. He just was so efficient.
And he walked him.
Dave Duncan out to talk to him as Tony's on the phone. Tulowitzki has grounded into 20 double plays.
Tulowitzki is grounded back to the pitcher. Took a good play by Pujols in the 5th. Reached on an error in the 3rd by Thurston and popped out first time up.
Tulowitzki is the reigning National League Player of the Week with a .391 average. He's hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games, over 400, and he's got a 9-game hitting streak on the line. Tulowitzki, 344 with runners in scoring position in his last 93 appearances.
0-1 pitch. Tulowitzki hits it foul.
6th shortstop all time with 30 home runs. Leads Major League shortstops in home runs. And he's hit 25 bombs since June the 8th.
An 0-2 pitch.
Ryan, the all-star this season, his first year closing. Last year he picked up saves when Isenhausen was injured, led the team in saves, but really his first year as the closer. He assumed that role in the first week of the season.
Another 0-2 pitch. Taken low.
Dan, you don't seem like you're quite relaxed.
Just fine, Al.
And this is a good tester for what October baseball is all about. And both these clubs trying to achieve that, and neither one has yet.
One-two pitch. Ground ball slowly hit. Pujols will go to second, gets the out. And there's two away. That's a big one there. One out away. Ian Stewart, the final hope right now for the Rockies.
We were out to talk to Ryan Franklin, and it looks like it's McClellan that is throwing in the bullpen now. So Trevor Miller is sat down. There's Trevor sitting there, but Franklin trying to end it right here against this left-hander. Then you have Torrealba and then Hop.
Ian Stewart is struck out twice tonight. Flied out to center and also flied out to left. The first pitch taken for a strike.
Tulowitzki takes second base. His fielder's indifference. Potential tie and run right there in the batter's box.
Oh, one to Stewart. Ground ball. Lugo's there. Franklin over. Touches the bag and he's got it. And the Cardinals are the 2009 National League Central Division champions.
And this is the way they wanted to do it, on the field. And how about the LaRue being the big hero?
It took 3 hours and 4 minutes. Adam Wainwright gets the win. And the Cardinals win the National League Central Division.
8th division title for Tony La Russa in his 14 years in St. Louis.
You see Jim Hayes there. He'll visit with Tony La Russa momentarily. And we'll also take you inside that victorious clubhouse as the Cardinals have won the division.
Way to go.
Jim, take it away.
Obviously, Tony, getting to the postseason and clinching is a goal. But to clinch in this kind of fashion, what does that add to it for your guys?
Well, I think it was really important. You know, we wanted to win to get in, to have this kind of game so tight, ahead, come back. So many heroes. Adds a lot to the championship. A lot better win rather than sit around and wait and have somebody lose.
You guys have had an outstanding season. What stands out about your ball club to you?
Well, I look up and down the roster, and everybody contributed huge. I'm talking about big. How about Jason LaRue coming in there after Yachty hits a home run, catches a shutout? I just look up and down, and a lot of people are going to celebrate. It's not just 4 or 5 guys that carried us. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody helped.
Thanks for the time. Congratulations,
Okay,
Tony. Tony La Russa, Dan, we go back to you.
All right, Jim, get ready. Should be a lot of fun inside that clubhouse. The reaction, the final out. The Cardinals are headed back to the postseason. The Central Division Championship back to St. Louis. The Cardinals defeat Colorado here in Game 2 of their 3-game series. A lot more to come here on Fox Sports Midwest.
Game is over with the Cardinals winning at 6-3, but more important, they have clinched the NL Central Championship, and Jack Clark and I are here to break it all down. We'll also take you back, of course, to Coors Field inside the visiting clubhouse for the champagne celebration. Jack, first of all, your thoughts on a terrific year, 90th win of the season.
Well, it's been a great year, and they did it in the way they wanted to do it, in style. And you know, congratulations to the staff, to the organization, to the great fans, you guys out there supporting them, and the party's just starting, and then we got a lot of fun. We got championship bases. Tonight's game was like a championship game. This is what we're in for. It's exciting. If you didn't like that game tonight, you don't like baseball. It was fantastic.
It certainly was. Much more on that coming up, as well as the champagne celebration as mentioned. We look at the final out once again. It's Ryan Franklin earning his 38th save of the season, inducing the ground ball. The Cardinals with a 6-3 victory. Reaction from the Cardinals on their 6th division title of this decade coming up next on Cardinals Live.
Welcome to U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live.
Ground ball. Lugo's there. Franklin over. Touches the bag, and he's got it. And the Cardinals are the 2009 National League Central Division champions.
Dan McLaughlin with the call as the Cardinals begin their celebration. They get the final out at Coors Field, beating the Rockies 6-3, and begin to celebrate their 6th division title of this decade and 8th under Tony La Russa. We are going to go immediately back to Coors Field now as you look at the magic number being at 0 because they have clinched the division, and the celebration is underway, and we'll take you to the visiting clubhouse. It's our Jim Hayes and Al Raboski, guys.
Thank you very much, but Mr. Carpenter, I appreciate it, but I got Albert Pujols right here someplace. Albert, you got the goggles on, or at least you did, but congratulations on a phenomenal year. Hopefully it was going to lead to an MVP, but right now this is all about the team.
Well, definitely, you know, I mean, is it that hard to get one win? But you know what, it's just a great story, you know, since the spring training, we just prepare ourselves for this, you know, to try to have an opportunity in October, you know. Nobody will listen to us when we were in spring training, but, you know, we make some key trade, and adding Matt and Dero into our lineup obviously help us out a lot. But it's awesome for these young guys, you know, to be able, the first time, and, you know, we got 12 rookies, to be able to pass champagne. It's just an unbelievable feeling, you know. I've been there and done it so many times, and I know it's a great feeling, so I'm really excited that we get to do it today and not tomorrow.
You don't get tired of it, but how about Wainwright's performance tonight?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just amazing, you know. It's a guy that obviously you wanna give it the ball every 5th day. You wanna take the ball and give us the opportunity to win every time, you know. Hanging Carp last night and Wainwright today after the top plus last night. And following up with that performance is just unbelievable.
Well, congratulations, and let's go over with the winning pitcher, his number 19, and take it away, Jim.
Yeah, well, because, you know it is, because you waited and now you're a target, right?
Yeah. Oh, my God. I don't even feel it anymore. No.
Adam, Adam, you got the strikeout to get out of the jam. You showed a little emotion earlier in the season, but that was a lot of emotion. What were you going through at that point?
That was fun, man.
God is good, man. I had to dig deep. I prayed a lot on the mountain today, to be honest with you. And I couldn't have done it without Jesus Christ today. That was fun. That was the most fun I've had since '06, without question.
You had a lot of defensive support, but this has been a pretty good team all the way around. Just your thoughts on the kind of season you guys have had so far.
Well, I tell you what, man, this is well-deserved. In the last 2 years, we've had a lot of injuries. We battled through a lot, and John Mazalek and Bill DeWitt put the perfect team out there for us this year, and we just got to, now we're in the playoffs, we got to keep going. This season's not over yet. We're still playing for home field and all that kind of stuff.
Congratulations, enjoy. Thanks for waiting. Let's send it over to Al, who's got John Smoltz. Al?
Well, John, this is 15th time that you're going to the postseason. How would you rate this ball club?
Well, this ball club has worked awfully hard to get here, and obviously it has a lot of components that put them in this position, and certainly they're as good as anybody to win a World Series.
I know you meant an awful lot to Adam Wainwright. You had to be quite proud of your protege tonight.
It's been an incredible journey for me to watch some of the great pitching that they've done. I mean, I don't know, 39 or 40 and 10, whatever the record is with him. But for Adam to go out there and pitch the way he did in Colorado, and even Carp yesterday, it's a lot of fun to watch. It reminds me of not too long ago.
And of course, they did it the right way. That's where the Cardinals winning it themselves on the field, and it always gets it's great. What do you think your role is going to be in postseason?
You know what? I don't care. If you'd asked me in August, sitting at home, if I'd be doing this, I didn't think there would be a good chance. So I don't really care. If I can bunt, that'd be great. If I can pitch, that'd be great. And certainly working towards that.
Well, John, congratulations. Let's go to one of the big home run hitters, Ryan Ludwig, today.
Yeah, 2-run over by Ryan Ludwig, getting killed by the champagne. I've seen the swim goggles. I don't know as I've ever seen the ski goggles before. You're taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I wanted to get the actual ski mask, like the alpine downhill slalom whole thing, and take it to another level. But these work well. It's my first time ever using them. It's my first, obviously, experience getting to the postseason with the big league team, and it feels unbelievable.
This is a team that has, I think right now, about 15 guys never been to the postseason. What's the excitement level?
I mean, I think it all gets down to, all the hard work we put in this offseason and through spring training, and the key additions we've gone throughout the year. It's just been unbelievable. I mean, there's no words to describe it.
Well, we're gonna send it over to Alan Brendan. Brendan has no goggles. He's goggleless. He's goggleless.
Brendan Ryan, no goggles, neither does Al. But no. Brendan, what a journey this been for you. Going into spring training, you really didn't know if you're going to make this ball club, and now we've been touting you as the best defensive shortstop in the National League.
I mean, I appreciate the compliment. What a ride. I mean, I try to establish myself. Oh, man, that's cold. What can I say? I mean, this rotation, they get a lot of ground balls for us. They get a lot of chances, and got to show that, I could play here. And it tastes so good.
Some of that is really cold, isn't it?
Right now. I tell you what, this is my first. I hope there's many more, but what can I say, Al?
Well, you never take it for granted because it could be your last. But with Tony La Russa's, this is 14 years. We're here 8 times he's had this type of celebration. And, of course, you'd like 3 more this year.
Yeah, we like to do this a few more times. And this season, hopefully in November somewhere. But, we want to win a bunch more games, try to get that home field advantage and go from there. But we're enjoying this one.
Well, let's go over to the big man with a big hit. What a home run by Jason LaRue, Jim.
Yeah, you talk about getting contributions from everywhere. That's kind of what this team has been about. Jason LaRue off the bench for the injured Yadier Molina. Didn't even see a pitch, and Jack went out of the ballpark. Tell us a little bit about the pitch you got.
This Bud's for you.
That's good.
Basically, coming off the bench, I faced these guys, been around quite a few years. I had a good idea that I'd probably see an off-speed pitch. So I was more or less sitting off-speed, and he threw me a slider, kind of what I was sitting on. Don't know how I hit it, but I hit it good enough and hit it in the right spot and ended up going over the fence.
Why would a guy have goggles and not use them? My eyes are burning.
So are mine.
How about the job?
Stupid.
How about the job that Wainwright did tonight? Dude. I mean, Tony stuck with him, and then Adam came through.
I mean, unbelievable. Not only Waino, but especially tonight, with this pitching staff that we have here, the way they can go out and execute their pitches, not only can they execute their pitches or above average big league pitches, and
use the goggle. There you go.
Suck on that. And be able to execute the pitches the way that they can, with him doing the job that he did tonight, being able to hit his spots, mix his pitches up the way that he did is obviously the reason that we won tonight.
I know you were talking. I didn't hear a word, but thank you.
You got it.
We're going to send it over to Al.
All right, thanks. Hey, we got Matt Holliday here. Matt, your first time really coming in this clubhouse. They really trashed it up pretty good, haven't they?
We've got plenty of liquid on the carpet, I think. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, obviously, getting a chance to play in the postseason, what it's all about, and this is a celebration of that.
Well, and you've had a remarkable run here with the Cardinals. It started a couple weeks before you got here, but how would you compare this team with like the 07 team you had in Colorado?
Well, I think the chemistry is probably the most thing that reminds me of that team. We have a lot of fun together. We count on each other. You know, when one guy's not doing it, the other guy pick him up, and so I think from that standpoint, it's a lot like that team.
And it's remarkable how this ball club is resilient. It's got the great starting pitching, but this team really cares about themselves, and that's where I think it can go deep into the postseason.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the one thing I noticed when I got here was, you know, the continuity of the team and how much they liked each other and how much, you know, we get along and have fun and enjoy each other away from the field, and how much guys root for each other on the bench. And, you know, the starting pitchers are into every pitch when they're not pitching, which, you know, I think is really cool. And so it's been fun team to be a part of.
Well, congratulations. And let's send it up here. I think Jim and I are going to send it up to the chicken, Dan McLaughlin, who is nice and dry.
I am. It looks like a lot of fun down there. And there's a look at the live look at the clubhouse and the celebration here on Fox Sports Midwest, having some fun there with Brendan Ryan and the gang. The Cardinals are the 2009 Central Division champs, and let's send it back to St. Louis and Pat and Jack. Guys.
Dan, thank you very much. A nice job by Dan and obviously Al and Jim in the firing line there, the champagne. Jack, we were enjoying hearing from the players and seeing them hoop and holler and spray the champagne and the Anheuser-Busch products all over the place. You've been through that. What is it like when you finally, after now 153 games into the season, all that hard work and it pays off?
Well, that's exactly what you say. All those games and it finally pays off. I mean, what a feeling to get in there and finally take a deep breath and relax. Enjoy that. You've been waiting to do this. You get to do it. You get to enjoy it in the confines of that clubhouse with your friends, your teammates that you're on the bus with, you're on the planes with, you know, and you get to know the families, and finally you get to enjoy it, and, you know, deservedly so. They talk about that journey they were on since spring training. Albert said it. Nobody expected them to win, you know, but Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, Albert Pujols decided to have something to say about that. And they set the standards, and everybody followed along. And then John Mozeliak and the organization, the DeWitts, you know, came and made the trades at the right time, pushed the right buttons. And the fans, again, you know, deserve a lot of credit because the organization, you know, went ahead and gave them that product, and they fulfilled it. Congratulations again. Just fantastic. And they're having a lot of fun. They'll find every liquid they have in there. They'll pour milk, orange juice, because they're going to run out of beer sooner or later. But I don't know, maybe nowadays they got enough of that stuff. But, you know, when they run out, you'll find all the other stuff coming. Mustard, ketchup, everything else coming out.
We heard Albert Pujols say he didn't know it was so hard to win one game. It was 3 straight nights that they played, 3 nights over 4 days that they played. They finally get the one tonight. And how fitting was it that Adam Wainwright, throwing that terrific of a game, they rode him all the way through this game tonight?
Unbelievable. I mean, the guy is a horse out there. I mean, he gets the ball. He gets that closer mentality. You saw him there in the later games. He threw those pitches, reminded us again, you know, closing out the World Series. I mean, he is a horse out there. He threw a lot of pitches tonight. Did he care? It didn't look like he broke a sweat. I think he could have thrown a whole nother 9 innings. You know, it was fun to watch. It was a great game. There was a lot of matchups. A good game by the Rockies, their game plan. Jim Tracy, Tony La Russa were battling as managers. The players were battling on the field. And then Jason LaRue coming up, getting that huge hit to take the pressure off. And they needed something like that. And the unexpected guy comes in there and picks up his teammate who got injured and then gets a huge hit. So we've given the credit to the catchers and Yachty and LaRue a lot this year for what they've done for the pitchers. And it's good to give them a little pat on the back for their offense, too. So congratulations. And, you know, Jim Hayes and and Al were in there. They, we got to represent. They were representing pretty good. They didn't have goggles on, so nice job by them.
That stuff stings.
By our
too.
guys.
Yeah, exactly right. We've got much more to come here on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Before we head to break, we want to remind you that Fox Sports Midwest will be your home for the most complete Cardinals post-game coverage this postseason. The games may be over on TBS for the first 2 rounds, but come on back to Fox Sports Midwest immediately following each game for all of the Cardinals post-game coverage that you've come to expect. The Cardinals are going to the playoffs, and we'll be there every step of the way on Fox Sports Midwest. Another look at the celebration going on tonight in the visiting clubhouse at Coors Field. Yeah, it's free-flowing. We'll continue to break it down after the 6-3 win next.
U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Believe in something better. And by Helitech. If your basement or crawl space leaks when it rains, heal your home with Helitech.
Now the Cardinals clinching their 6th division title of the decade tonight with that victory over the Colorado Rockies by the final 6-3. We just showed you a live inside the Cardinal clubhouse, hearing the guys talk about wrapping up the division. And we've been doing that, of course, ever since Tony La Russa joined the team some 14 years ago. Let's take a look back now at some of those other celebrations for the Cardinals.
Fly ball right field, near the line and deep. Ryan Jordan's got it, and the Cardinals are in postseason.
Until you get your first one, it doesn't feel the same, and I'm really, really happy to be proud of Walt's first tip.
Well,
Who is that?
Ozzie, from the bottom of my heart, my family, and from all the Cardinal fans, thank you for everything that you've done for us and everyone in St. Louis. Thank you.
Al. Thank you.
All right, Bob Carpenter, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
To the second baseman, Pena. And for the 17th time in franchise history, the Cardinals are going to the postseason.
This is what baseball's all about. And can I borrow your towel? Yeah. Give me that towel.
Al Rabowski, this has been some kind of night. My first post-game celebration.
And of course, your teammates are going to show you how to drink this champagne, aren't they?
Yeah, we are. We're popping it right now and having a good time. Everybody out there, you Cardinal fans, we love you so much. Thanks for supporting us. We're going all the way. We had great defense all year. We've had great offense all year. And we've had a great catcher.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you, Garrett. Let's go back upstairs to Joe Buck.
There's a moment to remember, huh?
No balls and 2 strikes. Klein to roll, and he's done it! And the Cardinals are into postseason play. The 3rd consecutive year.
We got Garrett Stevenson back one more time. Garrett, how you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
That was a question that got you in a little trouble a couple years ago, wasn't it?
I happened to say the F word, I think, a couple years ago, but I'm going to watch my language this year.
All right, we're getting a little bit of a shower. Here I am with Jimbo. Jim, how does it feel after everything you guys been through this year to be where you are right now?
Cold. I've only been here for 2 months, but these guys are the strongest guys I've ever met in my life.
As the Cardinals hit that magic number at 0 on September 20th of 2004, and they are the Central Division champs.
Any regrets?
You did mean it's fun. You never knew stinging in the eyes would feel so good. We're having a blast.
Oh. Is that nice, Reggie? Is that nice?
Yeah, nice. I'm loving every minute of it. That's right.
Watch his eyes.
That's right. Watch it. No, I don't care.
He's injured.
No, he's not.
I don't even know what to say to that. The only thing I know how to be myself, and that's basically go out and have fun. Try to have, okay, Larry Walker. All right, let's start over. Okay. The first 5 months of the season are important to us, so we're just happy to get the win, come in here and celebrate.
Now, someone told me beer doesn't sting as much. What? Someone told me beer doesn't sting as much.
And this should do it. 1 out for the Bulls, and the Cardinals for the 2nd straight time and the 5th time in the last 6 seasons are the National League Central Division champions.
Well, we still got 14 more games to go. Yeah! I'm telling these guys. He went down!
The magic number is 1. That means a win by the Cardinals or a loss by the Astros. We'll update you throughout the day.
Well, they went with the clear because I got them the clear. Oh. And let's see, I ran out, and a friend of mine bought the goggles, so I guess the clear ran out, so we went with the blue, and I didn't know who to give it to, so I just left it for myself.
Great look back at some of those terrific celebrations over the years for Tony La Russa's ball clubs. Some food for thought brought to you by Jack in the Box. Look at the most division titles by a manager of all time. Bobby Cox on top with 15. Then closely behind is Tony La Russa and Joe Torre. And quite an elite list for an elite manager. And the 14th celebration for Tony La Russa. And look at this. We saw it a short time ago. It was Ryan Ludwig and our Jim Hayes. Jim Hayes getting the alcohol in the eyes. Can't feel very good at this point. Ryan Ludwig, one of those seasons to remember in a lot of ways because he had that struggle, had an injury, really was fighting it for a while. But here he is with his 91st and 92nd RBIs tonight, and he gets the home run, a key home run, and he's going to, by the end of the season, have those kind of power numbers and RBIs you'd expect.
Has a chance still to get his 100th RBI. And he had a great at-bat last night and hit the home run. Surprised that he wasn't in the lineup tonight, but when he stepped up there, true professional now, big league hitter, went up there, took the kind of chances that he should for a slugger in the lineup, hit one out of the ballpark, huge hit at the right time to take a little bit of pressure off, to get Ryan Franklin in the game tonight, and way to go, Ryan.
Yeah, that was big because took a little pressure, as you mentioned, off of Ryan Franklin, and with that pressure off obviously, with that Rockies lineup, they're going to get guys on base. They did.
That ballpark, you just never know. You'd never have enough runs in that ballpark.
No, exactly right. But Franklin puts up a 0, and they win it 6-3, and they begin the celebration. We're going to head to commercial break here on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live as we do so we show you our Ameristar Casino play of the day.
Jason LaRue, high fly ball, deep left field. Did he get enough? It's out of here! The Cardinals go on top. LaRue with just his second home run of the year, and it's 4-3 St. Louis.
U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is brought to you by Country Financial. What's your idea of financial security? And by Jack in the Box. Right now, play Jack's Big Ripoff for a chance to win free food, cool gaming prizes, or one of 5 ultimate game rooms. Go to jacksbigripoff.com.
Third time's the charm, Jack. A third straight night the Cardinals have had a chance to wrap up the division title, and well, for the first time in those 3 nights, they actually get on the board in the first inning when they have the chance. There's Matt Holliday with a little single that brings in Colby Rasmus, and then after Rick Ankiel RBI ground out, Yadier Molina guides the ball to right there, and here comes Holliday, and the ex-Rocky scores, and it is now 3-0 for the Cardinals. To the fourth, now 3-1, Brad Hopp at the plate, and the All-Star goes the other way off Wainwright. No chance for Holliday in left. That's a 2-run shot, ties the game at 3, number 21 for Hopp. Next guy up is Clint Barmas, and he tries to lay down a bunt. He fouls this one off of Yadier Molina. Yadi tried to gut it out, but did later leave. That's got to be pretty painful right there.
That's going to be painful, and you got to get him out of there right there, because what's important is from here on out. And boy, then Jason LaRue steps in, and he becomes a veteran. His presence comes in there, and he makes himself felt.
First pitch, leadoff home run for LaRue as he had just taken over for Yadier Molina.
Gave him the lead at that point.
Gives him the lead, yeah. The bottom of the inning, the defense takes over. Albert Pujols, the nice play there. Then Skip Schumacher one-ups him. Diving play, spins and throws to first to get the out. And Wainwright ends the frame with a little comebacker, and it tosses over to get Tulowitzki. The Cards 6 outs away from the division title. In some trouble in the 8th with 2 on. Wainwright strikes out Clint Barmas looking. 10th K of the night. Then it's pinch hitter Jason Giambi looking. 11 Ks and a career-high 130 pitches for Wainwright as he pitches 8 strong innings. Top 9, some much-needed insurance for Waino, and the Cards off the bat, a pinch hitter, Ryan Ludwig, 2 and a homer, number 22 for Luddy, and RBIs number 91 and 92, 6-3 St. Louis. Then in the bottom of the 9th, on comes Ryan Franklin to close things out. You knew that the Rockies weren't going to go down easy, and they didn't. They get to 2 on with 2 outs in that bottom of the 9th, and Ian Stewart grounds out to second base here, and Julio Lugo almost throws this one away, but Franklin with a nice job of grabbing that. Cardinals win 6-3, and they celebrate their 6th division title of this decade, and certainly a couple of offensive heroes in Jason LaRue and Ryan Ludwig, both hitting home runs, but the pitching hero has to be none other than Adam Wainwright. We'll talk more about him in just a moment, but the 2009 National League Central Division champions are your very own St. Louis Cardinals. By the way, the Cardinals now improving to 36-11 since July 1st in games started by Carpenter, Wainwright, or Pinheiro. When you have your trio of pitchers going, a winning percentage like 36-11, Jack, since July 1st, I think we know who the top 3 in a starting rotation in baseball heading into the postseason will be. It'll be the Cardinals.
And whoever they're facing, and it might be this Rockies team, that's what they're going to be up against. So, you know, they're placed and positioned very well right now. They can afford to go ahead and pitch these guys 5 innings, get their work in, get them their rest, and get ready now. And that's what Tony wanted, and that's what you want to do, is clinch as soon as possible. And like Albert said earlier, who would have thought they would have taken this long to get 1 game? But, you know, they would have loved to do it here at home in front of the Cardinal fans, and it wasn't meant to be. But, you know, we're celebrating with them. You know, for me, being here this year and being able to watch Cardinal baseball every day and talk about it with this team that they put out there, they're fun to talk about. They're fun to watch. They've been great from offense, defense, and pitching has been fantastic. And the best is yet to come.
Let's talk more about Adam Wainwright. I think you and I were talking as the game evolved, and then when he went all the way through the 8th inning, 130 pitches, we feel like he went a long way in perhaps wrapping up the NL Cy Young with his performance tonight.
Well, he did for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people when they find out exactly what he did. And he seemed like he was getting stronger as he was getting closer to 120, then 125, 130 pitches. You know, he's just an animal out there. He's a horse out there. You know, he's 6'6" or 7", 225, 30 pounds, and a nice cool day out there, and it was just a walk in the park for him. But when he needed to, he just goes out there and he makes those pitches that are just unhittable, and he just loves that intensity. And, you know, those are pitches that you have to make under stress right then in situation where the game's on the line. You can just see his eyes and the intensity pick up right then, and he makes his pitches. And, you know, it's different when you're throwing 100 pitches, but when you're throwing 130 and 40 or 50 of them under stress, it's a whole different scenario. And, you know, it takes a special person to accomplish that.
Let's go ahead and dub him our Helitech King of the Hill for obvious reasons.
He gets my vote.
Yeah, 19th win of the season. That is top in the National League and equals the Major League best mark so far. With 1 more start to come, he could get 20, Jack.
Well, he probably should have had 20 already, but you know, he doesn't really care. Carpenter doesn't really care. You know, they liked all those numbers, and they're great to have, and they look sexy. But the bottom line is they want wins and help their team, and that's what they do. Every time they take the baseball, they know, and Albert said it earlier, every time one of those guys grabs the ball, you feel like you have a chance to win, and that's the best feeling in the world, knowing that you go out there, you don't have to, you know, hit home runs, you can generate runs, and you can relax. And those guys make everybody relax, make everybody better. Like Albert makes everybody better, Holiday, they make the whole lineup better. Those guys make all the other pitchers on the staff better too.
I mentioned the Cardinals 36-11 since July 1st when Waino, Carper, Pinheiro pitches. Well, Adam Wainwright bringing the heat, especially since the start of July. Waino really adding to his Cy Young credentials. How about the wins? Most in the National League. Innings pitched, easily the most, the best ERA since July 1st. You look at the strikeouts, set second most in the whips. The walks and hits per innings pitched just at 1.11, which is pretty ridiculously low, and that's 4th best in the National League. I think the Cy Young resume, as good as Chris Carpenter has pitched and the great story that he has been this season, I think Adam Wainwright probably has nudged ahead and left Tim Lincecum in the rearview mirror as well.
Well, just because of the way the Giants are playing too. But, you know, between Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter, I guess if one of them got it, they would say the other one deserved to have it. You know, Adam Wainwright would not be where he's at with having Chris Carpenter as a teammate. That's what he's meant to him. And, you know, they're just fantastic to watch. And, you know, when the game starts, you're going to get a good quality performance. They move the game along. They keep their defense in the game. Skip Schumacher's been outstanding. And he's been outstanding because those guys, Pinheiro, they give him ground balls. They pitch. They keep the game flowing. You can't wait for the, you know, when Ozzie was out there and John Tudor and Andujar were pitching at the same time, again, the game keeps going. And before you know it, you get a couple runs and game's over and you're in there celebrating, pouring some champagne on each other.
That's what they did tonight. Let's look at our Don Brown deal of the game, and it's a little bit more about Adam Wainwright, and particularly that eighth inning. He ends up striking out the side, Jack, but in between, there were a few issues as we look at the strikeout of Jason Giambi, and the Jason Giambi at bat was huge. It was one of those memorable at-bats, almost like a playoff series, a clinching game of playoffs.
Well, it was. I mean, look at the fans in the crowd and the importance of the game for both teams at that point was, you know, very serious, and especially for the Rockies. Obviously, the Cardinals they were going to put an end to it and put their stamp on it sooner or later this year. But the Rockies are battling for their lives in the playoffs. And where they've come from, and this is the first time we've beat them this year, so they've played us tough, and we may be facing them in the playoffs. And since, you know, Jim Tracy took over, who's, you know, a good friend of mine and has done an outstanding job, and I'm really happy for what he's done there. But, you know, Waino tonight, just when he needs to make his pitches, you know, and there was a couple maybe questionable calls right there, but, you know, before that, those were strike 3 pitches, but before that, there were a couple other pitches that were in the strike zone that a hitter could hit, but they were unhittable pitches because of where they were at for what and the kind of pitches they were. So even though Giambi and some of those guys were complaining about the particular pitch at that time, when the guy's around the plate the whole game, he's going to get calls. And when you got nasty stuff like that, you trick the umpire, and sometimes you trick your catcher because he's never even seen something like that before.
No, that was a strike, though. I think that was certainly a strike.
Too close to take, for sure.
If you're
a pro hitter, you got to put that ball in play.
You got to at least make an attempt at that swing. That's a Don Brown deal. That
unhittable pitch, though. So what are you gonna
agree.
do?
I don't think there's much you can do with that at all. We're going to stop right now and take a break here on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. We'll show you some more of that celebration inside the Cardinal visiting clubhouse there at Coors Field. Stick around, more to come.
U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Yard care solutions start at steeldealers.com. And by Honda. See your Gateway Honda dealers and discover which Honda is perfect for your life. Visit today. Life equals Honda.
Back on Cardinals Live, for those of you who may have missed it or who just want to see it again, we took you inside the Cardinal clubhouse at Coors Field for the clinching celebration a few moments ago. Let's take another look and listen now. It's brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers.
It's a great story, you know, since spring training, we just prepare ourselves for this.
I don't even feel it anymore. No.
I've seen the swim goggles. I don't know as I've ever seen the ski goggles before. You're taking it to a whole new level.
Oh, it tastes so good. What a ride. I mean, try to establish myself. Oh, man, that's cold.
My eyes are burning.
So are mine.
Plenty of liquid on the carpet, I think. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Certainly, they're as good as anybody to win a World Series.
Been there and done it so many times, and I know it's a great feeling, so I'm really excited that we get to do it today, not tomorrow.
Never gets old, Jack, but you and I were just talking during the break. Those celebrations, clinching the division or clinching a division title or a playoff spot, are important and they're fun, but they're nothing like when you start winning the series in the playoffs, and we got a great taste of that in 2006. And you have a feeling this team may go pretty deep in the playoffs.
Well, and that's why everybody wants to play for the Cardinals or can't wait to get here. And when they get here, they want to stay here because you have an opportunity to celebrate like that, because you may never get that opportunity with a lot of these other ball clubs. So with that team that they're putting out there right now is as good as any team in the major leagues. That pitching is the best pitching in the major leagues, and pitching's a key. It's going to take you a long ways, but you got to give that defense credit, and they got just enough offense, and they're clutch, and they've come through. They've struggled at times offensively, but like you said, Pat, now there's no time to take any prisoners. It's time to go out there and see if the year was everything that you want it to be and make it something very memorable, and you're lucky to have this opportunity, and those players are going to step up.
I think it's amazing when Jack Clark talks about the most important thing being pitching, it's a tribute to you to recognize the fact that that's what gets it done throughout the regular season and especially in the postseason.
I made a lot of outs in my career. I got 6,000 outs or something, so there's a whole bunch of failure that goes on there. So, and they weren't all real good pitchers, but when you're facing the good quality guys, I mean, basically your chances and percentages go down. You're hoping for a 1 for 3 or with a walk or something, and you feel like you've had a good day. So, but these guys have really taken it to another level where you see the type of pitches they're capable of throwing in situation. Wainwright tonight did it again. I mean, he came out there, and with last night, Carpenter was struggling with the mound and trouble getting his curveball over. I'm sure he helped him, but Wainwright came out and had no problems. He was absolutely nasty tonight, and he just kind of carved him up.
U.S. Cellular text time here on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Tom and Festus, and Tom texts in, congratulations, Cardinals. Can't wait for October. It felt like a playoff game tonight, and it certainly did, Tom. It felt like not only a playoff game, but you feel like it was the key game and the key at bat right there with Jason Giambi in a playoff series.
Very intense. It was fun to watch. Like we said earlier, if you like baseball and you didn't like this baseball game, I mean, you have players out there that are put in position to try to succeed, their manager, their organization, just like the Cardinals, the Rockies do a great job and have done a great job with that and come from where they've come from to get to this point. Everybody's leaving it out there on the field, and it was just fun to watch. Guys are stepping up, making plays, making pitches. Can't wait to get up there, taking their hacks. It was big league baseball at its best.
90th win of the season comes tonight as they clinch it. First 90-win team for the Cardinals since 2005, and now the next task, or something to keep an eye on anyway, over these last 7 games of the season for the Cardinals is, can they get the best record in the National League? And this is brought to you by the Painting and Decorating Foundation, and it's a look at the race for home field throughout the National League playoffs. And the Dodgers right now 3 up on the Cardinals, and that might be a bit of a tall order, and some might say you don't necessarily want, if you're the Cardinals, to be the top seed, Jack, because if you're the top seed, you'll be facing the Colorado Rockies. If you're the number 3 seed, then you'd be facing the Dodgers, and it would be the Phillies, actually, that would have to face. So.
And that board hasn't changed very much, since we've been watching it for the last month. But you know what? You really can't worry about that too much. You're going to go out and play a game tomorrow, and you're going to try to win the game. And you're going to try to win the game. The next game, you try to, if you like to compete and you like the challenge, you got guys wanting to get at bats and have opportunities to show what they can do to be on that roster for the postseason. Then you're going to go out there and try to step your game up and show them that you deserve to be there too. So, you just keep trying to win games, and if that's where the chips fall, you take it and you deal with it, and you prove to everybody that you're the best. And if that's what happens, that's where you want to be, and you'll take it.
Cards win 6-3 tonight in Denver over the Rockies, and they clinch the 2009 National League Central Division Championship. There's Ryan Ledwick's key home run to add 2 important insurance runs. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Keep it right here on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest.
U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live has been brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Believe in something better.
Cardinals clinching tonight. It took some work, though, from one backup catcher, Jason LaRue, the go-ahead home run in the 7th, and then a huge strikeout of Jason Giambi in the 8th by Adam Wainwright, his 11th K of the night on his 130th pitch of the game. And Ryan Franklin closes it with a little bit of trouble from the Rockies there in the bottom of the 9th, but he gets the ground out of Ian Stewart. And the Cardinals begin to celebrate with a 6-3 victory over the Rockies and their 6th division title this decade, 8th division title in Tony La Russa's 14-year tenure with the St. Louis Cardinals. As you look at the particulars from this one, and Adam Wainwright with his 19th victory after giving up just 2 earned runs over 8 innings while striking out 11. And when the writers who vote on the Cy Young take a look at the stats from tonight's game, they're going to see 130 pitches, 11 strikeouts, and just those 2 earned runs, Jack, over 8 innings. And you would think that would help, at least in pencil, perhaps, on the ballots of the voters put Adam Wainwright's name at the top of the Cy Young list.
Well, and it's starting to, this is the end of the season. There's 7 games left. You know what? It's pretty much done right now. So if you look at when Lincecum's going to pitch and when Carpenter's going to pitch and what's at stake, I mean, you pretty much got to make your choice now, and Adam Wainwright has just pretty much sealed the deal.
Magic number at 0, as you see behind us. It took a few days, as Albert Pujols commented on, but all good things come to those who wait, I guess is the saying. And for the Cardinals, it was a great season that's now been capped by clinching this division. It's been kind of a foregone conclusion, Jack, for a couple of weeks now because of that great August that they had. But, getting it now means that they have 7 games left, that Tony can start resting some of these guys from time to time.
Well, you can rest them and give them opportunities, that maybe you wouldn't, but they're still going to go out there and try to win the game. You have to still play hard, or you can end up coming up with an injury. So you got to leave it all out there, but you can get your guys rested. But you can't take too many days off because you have to stay in rhythm. You have to get your at bats, and you have to have that game intensity that you can't get in any other way. You can look at videos, you can do it, but the only way to do it is between the lines. Get out there and play hard. And if you got to play hard. If you don't, that's when you get hurt. And we got to stay away from injuries for these next days and go into October and take care of business.
We want to remind you that immediately following Cardinals Live, we'll take you out to Pac-10 football. It's coming up next. We want to thank you very much for joining us here on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live as the Cards clinch this division title. It really has. Jack Clark, myself, for Jim Hayes, Al Roboski, and of course for Dan McLaughlin. We thank you for watching. We're going to leave you now with a look back at the highlights of 2009 so far and how the Cardinals got to this point where they're celebrating the division title.
Carpenter back on the hill. 12 tonight for Wainwright. Listen to the ovation for Adam. He got him on the inside corner. 3-2, he got him.
Swing and a miss, he struck him out.
Diving stop, Schumacher from his knee, got him. Goes another one. He hit another one. Field, gone. Oh, look at that play. Brendan Ryan. Rasmus comes up with a great catch in center. Rasmus, walk-off winner. Out of here.
Swing and a grand slam home run by Albert. He whacks it into Big Mac land. Woohoo!
Grand slam. Albert Pujols. Ryan gloves it to second, out there first. Double play. This is gone. It gets over the wall. Welcome to the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry. Matt Holliday. Look again. Here comes Manning. Throw to the plate is there, and he got him. He got him. Here comes a throw by Anquino. Right on the mark. Look at that throw from the Cardinal center fielder. Pujols, left field. Game winner.